All right, let's turn that down a little bit. Make sure it's not too loud. How is everybody doing out there today? Nicholas Duncan, how's it going? Moo Aragon, how's it going? Louisa Ruth, good to see you. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing on this fine evening? Not a whole lot going on my end. At least I didn't have a whole lot planned, so I apologize if anybody came for the lecture. Hey, what's up, Danuko? I apologize if anyone came for a lecture. I did not have one planned. But, you know, I figured I would chat with chat. And, I don't know, probably get caught up on some of the stuff that has gone on that I haven't had a chance to make any scripted content about yet. Am I coming through okay? Can everybody hear me all right? Music's not too loud? Give me feedback, people. You're my regulars. Let me know. How am I sounding right now? While I pull up some news, some fun news stuff. Everything coming through smoothly. Music is good. Good to hear from you, Moo Aragon. All right, so I guess the first thing, that I want to talk about, thing that's burning on everybody's mind, how about that guilty verdict? I think that it's perfectly okay if you want to celebrate that. Why didn't you tell me the chat wasn't showing up on the screen? Dang it, guys. I count on you. You should have told me that. There we go. Chat's up on the screen. All right. I think that I think it's okay if you feel a need to celebrate a little bit. And the reason I say that it's okay to celebrate, about the guilty verdict is because the war that we're fighting, the things that we want to see as anarchists happen to society, the things that we want, the better world we want to see, will most likely not happen in our lifetime. So it's going to be a bitter, long uphill battle, inch by bloody inch. So it's okay not to relax, but to take a moment and applaud some form of, albeit delayed, tragic, what have you, justice being served. So if you pour yourself a drink for that, go right ahead. There's no shame in that, and don't feel ashamed to do so. There's a lot more to be done, and we can plan on being done. I think of it as an opportunity to energize you to do that much more. It should push you to do that much more and make sure that more and more people are saying, hey, being executed at the hands of the state is not okay. It's not okay. We've let it be normal for too long to be killed by agents of the state. And so we should be energized from this and say, hey, we need to get this message further and farther. We need to push for more. We need to see this happen in every city. This is the same state where they killed Dante Wright. And even then, after this guilty verdict with Chauvin, we honestly don't know what's going to happen in the case for Dante Wright. This is the same city. I didn't get a chance to make a video about it, but, Minneapolis, they're still sending cops to break up homeless encampments in Minneapolis. Like, the message needs to be sent out there. After the year that they had in 2020, they're still breaking up homeless encampments with fucking armed stormtroopers. That's terrible. So, draw energy from the good news. And it is good news. I'll say it's good news. Draw energy from it, is what I will tell you. Obviously, no one should be resting on their laurels, but this should be motivation to keep moving forward. And, yeah. That's my thoughts on that. I thought I had a subject to focus here. Right. So, yeah, this fuckwit is going to jail. He's going to fucking jail. And that's A-okay. You can be a prison abolitionist and still think that until we get to that goal, maybe, just maybe, they can stop using it against the people who it's been systemically abused against. Take action against these fucking things. There are also three other officers that definitely. There are three other officers that definitely. Holy shit. Okay, so my apologies on the music. My apologies on the music, everybody. The scene switch, I forgot to adjust the background music level in the scene switch. So sorry. So sorry, it's fixed now. There's a delay. So sorry, it's fixed. Okay, I should be coming through a lot more clearly now. So sorry about that, folks. I was not thinking. Alright, we're good now. We should be good now. Let me know when you hear it get adjusted. Hopefully we're all on the same page. Alright. So yeah, this fucking anal tumor right here is going to jail. And 45 years old, convicted of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. 10 hours of deliberation over 2 days to come to that decision. Bail fully revoked, taken into custody. being held in Stillwater, Minnesota. Basically, here's the thing. The funny thing to me is that a lot of conservative pundits are still holding on to some myth that he's going, some delusion that this is going to get overturned and that he was in the right. And it's hilarious to me because every single one of their arguments were fucking torn to shreds in the courtroom by experts. Not just witnesses, but by coroners, medical examiners, doctors, the police trainers threw this man under the bus. Do you know how hard it is to get other cops to throw cops under the bus? Have you heard of the blue wall of silence? The fact that you got other cops and people who train the fucking cops in there saying, yeah, no, we don't know that fool. He's not with us. They fucked him. And it's, to me, what that says, what I've learned about police unions, that tells me that he has, I don't want to say run afoul of the police union, but the police union looked at this and washed their hands of it. More than likely, they paid for his legal expenses, because that's generally what happens in situations like this. Usually the FOP covers the legal expenses of cops who get caught up in really high profile use of force cases. It's really sick. But the fact that they would have these experts go on there and also throw him under the bus, that means that they even found what he did indefensible, or knew that the legal system would not curry their favor as it normally does. That's my thoughts, you know. I ultimately, I can't say what went on in someone's head. We really have no way of doing that. But what we can do is point out that this is a small victory, and that's okay. Spectacular Snyderman, good to see you. Have you been with us on the stream before? Don't recognize your name. Good to see you, Louisa Ruth. Yeah, wash those dishes, Nicholas Duncan. Don't be like me. I have a kid that does it for me. So that's one of the perks of being a parent, is you can have your kid do the dishes for you. All right, what else is happening in the news? You know, is there anything else interesting going on? I've had a lot of stuff going on personally. Some of it not bad. Some of the personal stuff is iffy, but I bought a Nintendo Switch, so I've been playing Nintendo Switch like a lot of video games and just living my best life. So I want to get a capture card so I can stream Smash Brothers here, but I don't know if that's a community I want to be associated with. It's a bit of a rough community. A lot of creepy people there. Damn, chat died. All right, so that's one thing that's happening in the news. And then what else we got here? Well, I look for something else in the news. How's the picture? Do I look good? Am I well lit enough? Jesus Christ. You know, when you sit and look at the headlines, you know they're always going to be a little bit depressing, but I didn't expect to click on the U.S. headlines for today and say, hey, 5 people shot on Bourbon Street. Jesus Christ. Injuries are not life-threatening, though, so that's good. They are taken to hospitals. 1 was treated at the scene. No information about that. Let's see if we can find something different. Apparently, Ghislaine Maxwell pleaded not guilty to the charges. Hey, Nick Duncan, pups are good. Yeah, I legit worry Ghislaine Maxwell is gonna wind up dead at the bottom of a fucking ditch somewhere. Like, everybody involved with this case just gives off freaking eyes wide shut, evil inner circle vibes. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen to her. Hey, I just saw a raid come through. Is that an Ike Solis raid? Huh. Awesome. Hey, Emily. What's up? What's up, Ike? Let's see. People are saying something. What do you think about the Florida situation? Yeah, okay. Florida is on some bullshit right now, Moo Aragon. Florida... Oh, my God. Didn't they just pass a bit of Didn't Florida just pass a bit of legislation about trans kids? Like, some really screwed up legislation about, like, kids' sports? Would Hyrule work as a socialist commune? Irked! It's a raid! Ike raid! Hey, Emily. Hey, what's up, Ike Solus? How was your stream, man? I hope your stream went well. I hope it went better than mine. I came in here unprepared and I didn't have anything to talk about, so I'm literally reading the headlines. But I have my beloved regulars here in chat, so I always feel like home here. Dan Air, thanks for joining us, by the way. Yeah, that is... So the Florida Senate killed that bill. Thank God. Missouri water crisis. Hey, Dan Uko. Let's look that up. Missouri water crisis. We're going to find that. Because I'm big about water freedom. Nationalize water. Get corporations out of water. Holy crap, this is terrifying. According to this, we're gonna go through this article together. According to this, Southwest Missouri faces a water crisis. If nothing is done, demand will exceed current supply by 2030. However, additional water to meet the demand through 2060 appears to be available and could be accessed at a relatively low cost. But whether doing so would impact the region's ecosystem is not known. So, yes, seize the water. Yep, take care, Ike. Take care. Yeah, I Nicholas Duncan on the Florida thing, I still have to wonder. I have to wonder who was doing these genital inspections. I'm jumping back and forth here. But like, that's HIPAA. That has to be a doctor to even do that, and they can't release that to a kid's sports team. So like, what was their plan for this? Like, what was their end game there? HIPAA violations, they'd get sued to pieces. Soccer moms are among the most vindictive and angry human beings on the planet. They would get sued to shreds. Yeah, the buffer and the aquifer. That you know, I lived for a bit in Savannah, Georgia, and we're on a course to destroy some one-of-a-kind, and when I say one-of-a-kind, we're on a course to destroy some environments and biomes that are not found anywhere else on the fucking planet. And it's going to be irreversible. Fruit bats, what's up? Yes, Nicholas Duncan, Wall Street has started betting on water futures. That should be a scary sign. Because, you see, those people on Wall Street, if there's one thing they're good at, they know what is going to become a hot commodity in the future. And this water crisis here is terrifying. That should scare everybody. Let's see here. Flint water crisis. Oh, yeah, no, that's still an issue. So if we go to the Missouri Basin on drought.gov, this is a website that tracks drought. Apparently it has common droughts, but right now they are in an extremely rapidly evolving drought. And drought indicators show that there is a present drought in this region. It's almost like the environment is getting worse. Yeah, I know it wasn't required by a doctor, Irked, but a doctor... People aren't going to go to some random tube to do that. They're going to go to a doctor. They're not... And a doctor can't release that information. The whole thing's fucking gross. Like, I don't know how they were able to actually stand in a chamber and introduce that legislation. Yeah, the West is in a mega drought. We're jumping back and forth, fruit bats, between the impending climate disaster where we're all going to cook to death and fucking Florida. That's just the new descriptor for Florida. It's not Florida, it's fucking Florida. Oh, you know they're coming for Lake Michigan. Last time I was out west, they were talking about draining Lake Tahoe. Irked, I used to get physical exams for sports, and the one thing I never had to do was show my genitals. I had to get sports physicals to participate in football and wrestling. This is just to make sure that I didn't have any pre-existing conditions that could lead to a serious injury. I had to get them like once or twice throughout the entire time I was in high school and college. And not once did I have to drop trow in front of somebody. Nick Duncan, they were at one point talking about having to drain Lake Tahoe to alleviate the drought on the West Coast. Yeah, so as that drought... Here, look at this map I have on the screen. What do you think's going to happen if that drought keeps moving east? You know damn well they're coming for the lake. They're coming for Lake Michigan. The only saving grace you might have is if Canada wants to step in and tell them not to. Canada might be, we might have to go hand to hand. We might have to throw hands with Canada over some of these Great Lakes. Somebody who lives over there, I should know this. I live on a Great Lake. Do we share the Great Lakes, or are those all America? Or are those all the United States? Or do we share those with Canada? My state lives attached to a Great Lake, and I don't even know. I'm attached to Lake Erie here in Ohio. But yeah, no, they were talking about draining Lake Tahoe to alleviate the drought. I mean, on the one hand, yeah, climate change is bad. On the other hand, I feel like our chickens are coming home to roost. So we looked at a state like California, an arid, rocky type region that historically has always had fluctuations in rainfall. Pouring some whiskey. And we said, hey, let's build a massive series of population centers on this arid fucking coastal state. And let's keep doing that. And then let's keep using up all the water. What's up, Obnoxious? Let's keep using up all the water on this arid fucking West Coast state. And let's keep putting more and more developments here and building more and more shit. And then one day we're like, uh-oh, there's no more water for the farms. And that's California. Was that 1812, Dan Ayer, that led to us sharing the Great Lakes? Yes, Canada... There was actually a Canadian comedian that made a song about that. It was called Rocks and Trees. They said, we got rocks and trees and trees and rocks and rocks and trees and trees and rocks and water. Canada, America's suburb. It's a great place. Cheers. So, yeah, I had a great conversation with some indigenous and native organizers, and they gave me a perspective I hadn't really thought about. But, they said environmental preservation and water reclamation preservation should really be given to the domain of the native nations and the native populations. They are the ones most poised to help save our environment from the pending climate disaster. Like, in returning land to the native peoples that it was stolen from, they're the ones who have that connection with the land that can help us the most to protect it from, right now, what we are in, the negative side effects of the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, the eco-fash aren't coming for the lake that easy. And yes, armed black populations are good. Land back and water back. Obnoxious, it's very good to see you. We got to chat on stream sometime. I had a great talk with your comrade, the Inglesist, and they do amazing work out on the streets. I know you do as well. So those of you who are watching, make sure to take a moment and pop over to the Obnoxious Anarchists YouTube. Give them a sub, like their latest videos. They are a far more hands-on anarchist than I am, and they couple that with a lot more theory than I do. You don't come to Carr for theory, you come to Carr for cigars, dogs, and whiskey. and race-baiting takes. Obnoxious Anarchist has the theory to back up that street action, whereas they just call me when we need to punch shit. I'm good at breaking shit. So... We covered the Missouri water crisis, and yes, water back and land back. Let's continue looking at the headlines to see if there's any. Oh my God! Haha! I thought this was a meme. I did not think this was true. Wait, why is this playing? Stop playing. Jesus Christ! Aren't we happy that all of online media? Are we happy that all of online media has just been taken over by ads? Anyway, Nicholas Duncan, yeah, I got a late start to the stream tonight, but thanks for joining me when you could. Solidarity forever. Yes, check it out, Fruit Bats. So, a Capitol rioter was turned in by someone he met on the dating app Bumble after he bragged about his exploits on January 6th. Did this fool really tell on himself on a blind date that he met on a fuck app? According to court documents, 1 week after the attack, Robert Chapman of New York told one of his Bumble matches that I did storm the Capitol and said I made it all the way into the Statuary Hall. People have been laid in state there, by the way. It kind of desecrated what we would consider in America. We don't have much sacred here, but a lot of people consider that pretty sacred. And he claimed he was interviewed by members of the media. The other Bumble user replied, "We are not a match." And then they snitched. They fucking snitched. They reached out to the FBI. No, nobody likes the FBI. Someone on Bumble snitched to the FBI. What? What is this world? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh my, he looks like an insurrectionist. You got that haircut that says, I have 10 school buses buried in my backyard for a doomsday punk. Sorry, Birchalack, I didn't get you scheduled. You're here now, though. That's what's important. I didn't announce it because I didn't feel like announcing when I didn't have anything planned, but we are clowning. We are clowning on the news right now. Robert Chapman, this fucking guy... fucking unknown Henson wannabe looking ass. Fucking, like you said, Abraham Lincoln discount looking ass. He looks like the fucking President's Day sale mannequin that they put up at a furniture store. What happens if this is what comes up on your fucking Bumble? I swear to God, if you actually swiped right on this guy, some of his profile pictures include him holding an AR-15, and at least one of them is in front of a Dodge Charger. Fucking hayseed ass looking motherfucker. Jesus Christ. You're gonna go home from an insurrection and then like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty horny. It's time for me to fucking hit up the old carousel, see what I can find. It's time for me to get back in the dating game. You know, he probably got all pumped up in his confidence that him and the rest of the fucking chair force and the gravy train fucking stormed the Capitol, and he thought he could brag about that. I swear to God, you know, this guy thought that he could brag about storming the Capitol and that would get him laid. I assure you that was going through his mind at the time. He said, no, I stormed the Capitol with the rest of the fucking chuds. Now you're in jail and you got fucking blue balls. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no. I hate snitches, but Jesus, this is so glorious. And they corroborated his claims by comparing his Bumble profile picture to footage from the body cameras of officers in the Capitol. Like, dude, you don't fit in. You don't blend in the crowd with these fucking 2-inch lamb chops going from your ears to your chin. This is not a forgettable look. You look like a folk singer minutes before they go on a racist tirade. Jesus Christ. According to screenshots in court filings, he also posted to Facebook before the insurrection that he was traveling to the District of Criminality, and on the day of the attack, he posted, "I'm effing inside the cap." Listen. There's lessons to be learned from this, comrades. Sometimes you all might have to exercise outside of the law that I'm in a way that I'm in no way proposing, because I don't want to be zapped off of platforms. But in the event that you do, don't tell on yourself. Delete your fucking Facebook if you have to break into a government building. Don't tell on yourself on Facebook that you're in a fucking government building. Don't be that stupid. Don't be that guy. You know his dick was hard, too, as he was posting that he was inside the Capitol building. You just know it. He was already thinking to himself that that was going to be his pickup line whenever he got home from fucking Nazis' day out at the Capitol. Yeah, you don't need to hit post, and I'm telling you that as leftists who may need to hit the streets. If you're going to break into a government building, do not post where you are. Leave your phone at home. This guy played himself. He played himself. In dozens of cases, prosecutors have been quoting rioters' posts from Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Parler, Snapchat, and other sites where they bragged about their crimes. Apparently, multiple people have been arrested based off of incriminating social media posts. 390 people have been charged with federal crimes. Again, prison abolitionist, police abolitionist. I don't actually want people to be spirited away to jail, but holy shit, if they're going to try to literally unseat democracy while waving white nationalist flags, fuck them. I don't care what happens to them. They haven't been charged with violent crimes. Just this guy looks like the sort of person who would brag about it on a dating app. That is too much. It feels good to laugh, gang. It really does. It really feels good to laugh. Let's see if there's any other latest U.S. stories. A lot of disappointing shit. Unarmed man was shot by a Virginia deputy while on the phone with 911. Hate crimes. God, the news is terrible. This is horrible. All right, let's go to the environment. We were talking about the environment earlier. All right. Apparently, a volcano on St. Vincent fucking erupted, and that's crazy. Virtual summit. The climate summit's going on right now, so they're doing that via Zoom meeting. Yeah, you know, if in our path to abolition of police and prisons, we can at least hope that they'll use them against the right people. That said, you know, I will not be personally snitching anyone to the FBI. I don't, because fuck the police. I don't care to snitch on anybody, but, you know, I'm not going to lose any sleep if these guys get themselves an orange jumpsuit and a place with bars on it, you know? It just be like that sometimes. Enough people who look like me get locked up just for the color of their skin. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Wow. Are you serious? Holy shit. I mean, this is the bare minimum. I mean, and it is... It's symbolic, but he's kind of the first one to do this and not walk it back, which is crazy. Apparently Biden officially declared the mass killings of Armenians a genocide. The first sitting president to do that, as it were. First sitting president to do that. That is shocking. What happened to the window? All right, there we go. Yeah, about time. Yeah, apparently he has. There was a torchlight procession in Yerevan on Friday, the 106th anniversary of the massacres. And Saturday, that's today, he recognized the mass killings of the Armenians more than a century ago as a genocide. And this is kind of big because for the longest time we've basically been kind of trying to ignore talking about it because we care so much about being allies with Turkey, and Turkey's done some fucked up shit in the past. And he said, let me find the quote. And we remember so that we remain ever vigilant against the corrosive influence of hate in all its forms. Each day on this year, remember the lives of all those who died in the Ottoman-era Armenian genocide and recommit ourselves to preventing such an atrocity from ever occurring again. Yeah, Erdogan is losing his mind right now. What's up, following as a test? Yeah, I'm sure I hope Erdogan has a heart attack and fucking dies. In Minecraft. Yeah. The Turkish government didn't say much. They see it as symbolic. President Erdogan has repeatedly denied that genocide and has lobbied hard to prevent the announcement. But apparently Biden told Erdogan directly that he would be declaring the massacre an act of genocide via phone call, and that they've agreed to an effective management of disagreements. Mozambique? ISIS has occupied Mozambique? Jesus Christ. Alright. Erdogan. Is it Erdogan? Okay, Erdogan. I am so American it hurts. You know, it's still a very milquetoast, it's still a very light statement from Biden because he has to make sure that he doesn't throw blame where it belongs. And he even says, "We affirm the history. We do this not to cast blame, but to ensure that what happened is never repeated." Like, motherfucker, cast some blame. Call people out. You know, he's playing partisan ball. He does not. He's playing. He's trying to be an ambassador. He doesn't want to call people out, but fucking call them out. Call them out, Biden. Jesus Christ. Name the names. We have the receipts. They literally dumped people off boats into the ocean. I think they need to be called out for that. I think the people responsible need to be blamed for that. Yeah, foreign interventionism. He is your liberal. That is true. Oh no, Biden is yeah, it's one of those blameless genocides. You know, it's just one of those things that happened. It was just oopsie, a genocide happened, and some people just got pushed off boats by the thousands into the fucking Black Sea by nothing whatsoever. It was willed into existence. Yeah, no, he needs to name names. And yeah, no, Biden is a foreign interventionism. Biden is cringe as fuck. Jesus, now we're talking about Biden. I want you all to see what's happened here. Do you see what's about to happen? Because we brought up Biden. This is your fault. But I have a rule I have to hold myself to. You talked about Biden, so... Jesus Christ. 99 bananas, friends. Choke it down. Choke it down. It tastes like it tastes voting for Biden. Okay. Oh, God. 99 bananas straight to the dome. Greater Parrot. Okay. Hold on. We have a problem. Greater Parrot. I'm talking to you now specifically. Why? No, Nathan, I haven't watched it yet. No spoilers, or I will fucking yeet you. Greater Parrot, you have come into my chat on multiple videos to ask me why I am an atheist. If you have watched any of my content, you should understand that I'm not really big on being a militant atheist that shits on Christians. I have a lot of my own criticism of organized religion, and I don't care for it. But I never really like to pull the atheist card because that group of people on YouTube is not a very savory bunch. You're allergic to bananas, fruit bats? It's not that you say his name, it's just if I get off on a tangent about him, I have to choke it down, especially if he did something somewhat good. I have to choke it down like this nasty gift bottle of 99 bananas, banana liqueur. It tastes like kissing your sister. Yeah, what's your deal, Greater Parrot? Why do you ask me that all the time? How come I'm an atheist? I'm an atheist because I'm a fucking atheist. There you go. I don't believe in a god, put simply. Yes, and stay away from atheist YouTube. TMN and Aaron Ra do pretty good. And Aaron Ra is a big metalhead, and I can vibe with that. You know, I'm okay. I could actually lose bananas forever. I don't like anything banana flavored. And what I mean by that is I can peel a banana and eat it, and it's like, yum, it's a banana. It tastes good. Potassium, good for you. But like banana pudding, banana bread, bananas Foster, banana candies, like the little bananas and runts, I can't stand it. It's nasty. It's disgusting. Banana cream pie, banana bread, hate it. Nasty. Disgusting. Yeah. So, and yes, that's the answer as to why I'm an atheist. Same reason Irk's an atheist. We don't believe in any god. Also, we're anarchists. No gods, no masters. And as far as I'm concerned, organized religion is just another unjust hierarchy, so fuck them too. There you go. Especially the Christian framework of God. I don't care for that. That's way, way too hierarchical. Yeah, that's because banana flavored stuff is recreating the flavor of Gross Michael bananas as opposed to yellow Cavendish, which is the current bananas that are around, because monocultures basically led to a fungus that destroyed the Gross Michael bananas from production on the planet. Nerdy shit. Let me whiskey that banana flavor out of my mouth. How'd I know you were an anarchist? Because you're watching me. How does Hotep jibe with that? Hotep isn't necessarily religious, Dan Air. It's more spiritual. I mean, Satanists aren't religious. Or Satanists are atheists. They don't believe in any gods. There are no gods. Yeah, so like, it's a fun thing you brought up, right? Similar to why a lot of people don't like grape flavored candy and grape flavored stuff and grape soda. Like grape candy and grape flavored stuff in the United States is not made off of like the standard like red or green or white grapes that you get at the store. It's specifically based off the flavor of Concord grapes. These are a specific variety of grapes that are popular in Concord. Concord grapes, most people don't eat Concord grapes. Most people have not eaten a Concord grape. They're very expensive, very hard to raise. But grape candy is fashioned off of Concord grape flavor, not the standard grocery store grapes. So bananas, the reason why bananas taste banana flavored stuff tends to taste kind of gack is because it's based off of Gross Michael bananas or Gross Mitchell bananas. Excuse me. I'm not sure exactly how to say it. You can make grape flavoring from nitrile gloves? What? What is that statement? That sentence does not make sense to me. Okay, so pictured on screen here, we have some Gross Michael bananas, or Gross Mitchell bananas, right? So this was a variety of banana that was very popular for a very long time, well into the 60s. And if you look at old pictures of bananas of people and kids eating bananas back in the old days, this is what they looked like, and they were farmed into heavy fucking monoculture, right? So monoculture is a great way to allow a plant disease to come in and destroy your crop, right? So now the bananas that we have, which again are also monocultured to hell and back, are yellow Cavendish. These guys, these long boys here, yellow Cavendish, right? So this yellow Cavendish, which is what you're used to eating over from your sorry, Dan, here, did I lose you? I will check out Christian Anarchism, Quakers, and Monastic Living. I will check that out. I'm sorry. I didn't come into stream with a plan. I'm so sorry. So yellow Cavendish is what you get at the supermarket. But candies, pastries, and stuff, anything with banana extract, those flavors are styled after Gross Mickle bananas, which are hard to find now. You know, they're functionally extinct, or at least they're not able to be grown in any kind of commercial production. And yes, banana republics were a thing. Also, banana republics basically turning countries into fucking hellholes to be more profitable to the capitalist entities growing these bananas. And yes, all of the bananas were basically inbred clones, so they were just set up and waiting for a disease to wipe them out. Monocultures are bad. Monocultures are bad. Stop doing monocultures. They destroy the fucking soil, they destroy the fucking atmosphere, and they destroy the ecosystem. Monocultures are terrible. What's up, person one? Alright, so we're off the banana chat. We're going back to the news, people. Quit driving me off course here. Alright. That's enough on Biden. More fatal shootings, Asian violence. You know, the news is terrifying. Gives me nightmares. What if you found some banana news? You can link it in chat, and I'll get around to it whenever I get around to that grape-flavored nitrile glove business. A lot of shootings. I don't know enough about Myanmar. To talk on that subject. Unfortunately, I get very busy, so I don't have time to catch up with all of the news. So I should do some reading on Myanmar, and we should have an update stream on the everything going on in Myanmar. I bet Obnoxious Anarchist probably knows better than me on what's going on in Myanmar. Do I have any Brits in chat is my question. Are there any Brit bongers here in chat? Fungus has been causing us to lose bananas again since the 90s. It's spread to the Americas now. Jesus. Hey, following as a test. Nice chatting with you. I got my bourbon right here. Have a good one. Come out, you black and tans. Listen, let's talk about the UK. And apologies in advance to any Brit bongers here in chat. Powerlifting. Ooh. What lifts was it? Was it squat, bench, and deadlift? You gotta tell me. I did a few powerlifting meets. I'm weak, though. You probably lift more than me. Okay, let me adjust all of these things. So, Ludlow Vert, thank you. I should check out EJ and Luna's interviews. Listen, let's talk about England. And here's the thing. And really this is addressed to any nationalists in England, English nationalists, English white nationalists, or people who actually like the state of England or Great Britain, right? If it was, listen to me. If it wasn't for Germany, the country in Europe with the most tainted history and the one most closely aligned with the dangers of nationalism would be England. It would be England. The anti-Semitism in England is fucking atrocious. The racism in England is atrocious. Slavery bankrolled their industrial revolution. And to this day, right now, they're fucking over their economy and fucking over their people over fucking Brexit, fueled purely by white nationalism. England, be better. Brit bungers, set down the teacup and be better. Anyway, bench. How much did you deadlift? What was your max deadlift today? Take on mass shootings. Nathan Madeira. Let's talk about mass shootings. I don't want to, but I think I should, because watching a stream while lifting, that is hardcore. Hey, gym, tan, laundry, eat, sleep, lift. Birchalac gets it. Eat, sleep, lift. What's up, East Supreme Kai? How's it going? All right. The slow motion Nazis. Jesus Christ. So, mass shootings, if I can get somber for a second. I, unfortunately, do not believe mass shootings are a thing we can legislate our way out of. It's just not. Mass shootings are not something we can legislate away. And part of the problem with that is the cat's out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag is kind of an apt way to describe a lot of the problems we have here in the United States. The amount of power and armament that we've given to police and government law enforcement agencies, the cat's out of the fucking bag. There are just things in organizing and direct action that we can't do on the streets here in the States that maybe they can do in France or maybe they can do in Germany, because we have police forces that we've armed to the fucking gills. We have SWAT departments that were literally built to quash class uprisings, right? So someone, if they're going to take to the streets, and do some direct action, demonstrate, what have you, they have to do so with the knowledge that they might get their skull split open by a rubber round from a cop, right? Or a 40 mic grenade. I don't share these pictures, but I literally have, I was sent pictures during last year's demonstrations of people who had to go to the hospital to get 40 mic grenades out of their skulls. It's fucking terrifying. So, back to mass shootings. The cat's out of the bag. There are more guns than people in this country. So when we talk about what works in other countries, I need you to ask yourself if it's a country that has more guns than people. Because if it's not, then that solution's probably not going to work. Confiscation's not going to work. Abolition's not going to work. You can make a gun with a trip to Home Depot. Seriously. And I don't want abolition. I don't want to take away the means for Black Americans to defend themselves. So how do we get rid of mass shootings? We have to attack the philosophy of it, and that's not something you can legislate. We have to take away the very American idea that the gun makes the man. When you've exhausted all options, you have to pick up a gun and right the wrongs. That's the idea we get from the movies. That's the idea we get from the mythologized version of this nation's founding. Our founders took up guns to fight against the British. The cowboys in the movies use guns to solve their problems. The guys in the action movies use guns to solve their problems. We project this idea that the gun makes the man. And until we combat that and get rid of that, until we teach people about conflict resolution, until we teach people and we build a society where things don't get so fucking desperate as we're all grinding away under capitalism, we're not going to be able to legislate the problem away, at least not directly. But yeah, if we take away a lot of that desperation and we actually give people the means to find another way out other than saying, hey, I'm going to take a bunch of bodies down with me, then it's going to keep happening. Now, statistically speaking, mass shootings are extremely traumatic to view, but make up a small portion of gun violence. Most gun violence is the person who owns the gun turning it on themselves. And that's a problem. 70% of gun deaths are suicide. And that, to me, if we framed the conversation around gun violence, as being a problem of mental health and suicide, I think we would maybe apply a little bit more of the right kind of effort. Yeah, no, Birchlack, they didn't go it alone. And they were securing economic interest. The Boston Tea Party was a bunch of wealthy white men who didn't want to pay taxes, working off of some right libertarian bullshit. And, yeah. They did have a class solidarity despite that. So, this Lone Ranger... Holy shit! Hey, what's up, Vosh? How's it going? Welcome to the chat. So yeah, no, they didn't go it alone, and they didn't. They weren't really fighting for some idealized notion of freedom. They were fighting for their moneyed interest, like you said. 5,000 years of debt. Thanks for coming on stream, Vosh. Haven't. Did you get auto-modded? I really got I gotta get a mod at some point here. Allow. You know, I made a video about the good guy with the gun bullshit. And, yeah, it's this rugged individualism that we push, that we look at, like, everybody wants to be the Lone Ranger with their fucking guns, right? Everybody wants to be the fucking Lone Ranger. And that's all bullshit. It's all built off of a myth. And this myth is the myth that we keep selling, right? And it sells guns, too. It sells a lot of fucking guns. You go to any gun website. Matter of fact, I'll go to one right now. I want to look at some of the marketing on a gun website. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to look at what some of these gun websites use to sell. We'll go to the brand of gun that I own. Yeah. Let's go to Glock. I like Glock. Great engineering, you know? All right. Here we go. All right, let's look at the most dangerous day in the Old West at all. 3 people died. The most dangerous day in the Old West maybe was 3 people dying, and that was the showdown at the OK Corral. The showdown at the OK Corral was the deadliest day in what that brief period of time that we would call the Old West, and that was when sheriffs shot 3 people. That was when cops gunned 3 people down. Why don't people think about that for a second? All right, so we're looking at this here. We're looking at Glock USA. All right, 35 years of perfection. Let's see here. Optic ready. So Glock markets heavily on their performance and sporting and this, that, and the other. You see, they talk about their engineering a whole hell of a lot. Lots of training, lots of safety, and generally you look at these pictures and they just want you to be a fucking ready operator with their gun. You know, they got this attractive lady here, they got this weekend warrior here, they got some bastards here, and they got some dude over here, right? So this is their marketing for this. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Smith & Wesson, they tend to use a bit more heavy-handed marketing with theirs. But let's see, maybe they've changed over the years. So you go to Smith & Wesson's page, they have a gun finder, answer a few questions, and they find the right gun for you. And the M&P Shield series, I don't know. So basically, they say, hey, get your guns, have your gun, and defend yourself. That's what it's all about. So you go under purpose here, they say hold on, this picture looks ridiculous. I'm not sure who would hold their gun like that and hold the flashlight like that. That's weird. So, you know, they have these that they market for home defense. You know, you got your shields, your M20s. Got a couple rifles here. Don't know why you'd use a rifle that long inside your house. You got narrow hallways. You're going to smack the barrel against the wall. Yep. At least they're showing trigger off the finger. That's important, I guess. Safety is a big thing. They got safety, purpose, concealed carry. Let's see what they say for that. I'm actually a fan of concealed carry. Open carry is about the stupidest fucking thing in the world. So if anyone's listening, if there's any actual advice I can give anybody here, don't open carry, please. Don't open carry. Open carry is a terrible idea, guys. Here's the thing. If you're going to use that weapon, one of the most useful tools that you have is the element of surprise. This is how they train soldiers. This is how they train cops. This is how they should train freedom fighters. This is how I train you. Open carry removes the element of surprise. Okay? You think open carrying says, hey, I'm a visual deterrent. I'm going to stop the bad guy with the gun. No, what it really says to the bad guy with the gun, who's not open carrying, by the way, because he has the element of surprise. Oh, wait, that's who's going to catch a 9mm round to the back of the head first. Now I have 2 guns. Do you see? Open carry for katanas only. Agreed. Agreed. So we have this idea due to the mythologized way that we sell American history, as well as the fear-mongering that goes on constantly from the gun lobbies, which are massive and very well funded, that the gun makes the difference. You gotta have the gun makes the man, the gun makes the woman. The gun is as American as apple pie and turkey on Thanksgiving. We have to get away from that. And that, that actually takes me to a lot of the police violence issues that we're dealing with right now. Not necessarily the violence itself, but the responses that you get, that you always have people willing to jump out and completely dismiss the victims. They will use any out that they can to dehumanize the victims of police violence. They will call them a drug addict, a criminal, a thief. They were in a fight. Do you notice how fast they try and dehumanize the victims of police violence? The reason they do that is because in their minds, in their society, they believe, the bad guy should get killed. They believe it's right for people to get killed by the state. So it's a very hard person to get through to. Humble Height Henry, thank you for the super. Under no pretext. Let's get it. Yes, I have not set up a widget to show the supers on screen, so with any kind of special. So I will do it and make the noise myself. Do-do-do. And I will take a drink. Yes, under no pretext. Let's fucking get it. And that's the worst part when talking with people, because you have to understand, when you're talking to people about extrajudicial murderings by the state, you're talking to someone, if they're defending that, you're talking to someone that believes some people should get fucking executed on the street by the state without a trial, without a jury, without a judge. And I talk to them about this, and I'm like, how do you square that with claiming to be a Second Amendment supporter? And they're like, and I'm like, what if this person is defending themselves from an unjust state? What if they're defending themselves from some badged stormtrooper trying to attack them? And they always say to us, oh, well, they should fight that in court. Not even touching on the fact that cops are ridiculously hard to hold accountable in court, even if you do happen to live through the encounter. Why do you have to submit to the beatings, to the harassment? Why do you have to submit to someone abusing their power and hope that the legal system's in your favor at your own personal financial expense, by the way? Due process is a white privilege. Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. Listen, all of the lefty isms. I hope we can find some kind of unity. I am not a Leninist, Marxist, or Maoist, and I don't really know enough about them to make a prescriptive or descriptive statement, Nathan Madeira. So I tend to stay in my lane. I am a black man, and I talk about black anarchism. I can talk about black nationalism, and I can talk about being a wonderful, glorious hotep, and I keep it at that. I don't know, maybe sometime I'll chat with a Marxist and get their take on things. Yeah, and that's a big issue. We need to try and empower some more left-leaning gun organizations. The NRA is so entrenched in a lot of the business of gun stuff. Like if you go to a small town shooting range or something, and you look for a training program, you say, I want to take some training. I want to learn how to shoot a gun. It might be run by an NRA-sponsored course, for all you know. They do cop training. They do gun training. I am familiar with Black Red Guard. Very, very based. Very excellent black communist YouTuber. And he is appreciated, as is his contributions to the discourse. I guess when I say I don't know a whole hell of a lot about Marxism, Leninism, or Maoism, I haven't read a lot of theory, if I'm being honest. Because theory is for nerds, kids. There's a fucking fly in here. Did anybody notice me swatting at a fly in my last scripted video? Jesus Christ. It's not fly season yet. Why is it so... It's cold outside. Why are there flies? Yeah. Yes, and we talk about grapes and bananas. And yeah, no, the NRA, they're all up in the hunting culture. They're all up in the gun training culture, the gun purchasing culture. I go to the gun shows, and the NRA guys have a booth there every time. And they're, hey, come on, let's join the NRA. We want to protect your right to own guns. And then you find out that it's an organization that also tends to push really hard right on a lot of political issues, and they are corporate as shit. They are bought and sold by the corporations. And honestly, they're not even good at advocating for gun rights. They cave all the time. I talked about this on an interview a while ago. I'm familiar with Capital. I'm not reading Capital unless somebody pays me to record a voiceover of like an audiobook of it. Capital is very, very dry. Capital is like the Silmarillion to Marx's Lord of the Rings. Collion Noir is a corporate opportunist, is what he is. He does espouse some right-wing views, but he's mostly running a grift. Now, I should say I don't like Collion Noir. I've said this before. Stop, Birchalac. Hey, what's up, Matt? Or hey, Siltrin, what's up? Collion Noir is, I will say, not in his defense, but just to be accurate, Collion Noir was and now is a gun YouTuber outside of his NRA spokesperson role. Outside of his NRA spokesperson role, he does a lot of, you could call fairly neutral gun YouTuber stuff. He reviews guns, he does range videos, so forth and so on. He does, however, act as a NRA spokesman at times, and that's when a lot of the really chuddy shit comes out, and he comes out to run defense for cops killing black people. The usual shit. Candace Owens shit. I mean, he hosted Stacey Dash on his channel at one point, and that's kind of a low bar there. Listen, GTA RP. GTA RP. No, I wouldn't do that live. Goes on Tucker Carlson to shit all over. Yeah. He's like Brandon Tatum. They very grifty. The grift apparently pays very well. And I'm not going to use any less charitable language than that because I'm live and it's a personal thing. I don't think that I need to sit here and bash black conservatives. They kind of do the work for me. It's pretty obvious. It's very obvious. Like, You know, I'm upset. No one's at least even offered me a check to do the fucking Turning Point USA Candace Owens grift. Like, they could at least see if I'd say yes to the Turning Point money. I bet the money's good. Conquest of Bread. That's good stuff, too. Also very dry, though. But I'm not saying it's hard to understand. You know, Capital is not hard to understand. It's just a slog. It's a slog. And I admit that I haven't read it. I should read it. Lance from the Surfs has read it. You can talk to Lance about it at the Surfs. He knows all about Marx. I do not. Read Frantz Fanon. Read Wretched of the Earth. That's much better reading suggestion. You know? Read some Ibram X. Kendi or something. SRA isn't perfect. But... listen, you all are a great alternative. You suffer from the same issues any national organization would suffer from. Okay? The SRA does amazing work and is very based. And I'm happy to know that the Cincinnati group with the chapter of the SRA here in Ohio, I believe they're in the Central Ohio, the Cincinnati group actually has a range day. They actually get organized enough to have a range day. That makes me happy. Apparently a lot of other chapters don't get it together enough to have a monthly or weekly range day. So that's awesome. I followed their Facebook. Raised Reich. Yes, you got it, Nathan Madeira. You know, that's honestly an idea that I've had for a while for a It's an idea that I've had for a while for a scripted video, talk about survivorship bias, because that's what I see coming out of a lot of these people. You know, I watched the video with Brandon Tatum in it, when I see the shit that Candace Owens says, when I see the shit that Colleen Noir says, and I'm like, this is survivorship bias 101. It all basically boils down to, yeah, I'm black, but I made it and I get to be a fucking conservative and I'm not a fucking victim. Why are you a victim? You shouldn't be a victim. You should just undo systemic issues by will and culture and parenting and two-parent households. You know, they're just a talking point machine. You turn the crank and they shoot out fucking predictable ass talking points. It really goes that simply. So raised strike. You all are having fun with words. Fun with puns. Hey, somebody make sure, Virtualac, keep an eye on Twitch chat, because I don't know on this thing. It doesn't tell me if people get auto-modded, so you just have to remind me from time to time if people get auto-modded. Yeah, bootstrap conservatism is really cringe, and that's survivorship bias, you know? It's like they look at all of these issues that people are having. They look around them and see all these issues in their community, and they don't stop and say, hey, is there something bigger that's making everybody in my community struggle to break out of this vicious cycle? No, they just didn't want it enough. I wanted it enough, so I am good and they are all bad. Right? That's what you get with a lot of the black conservatives, honestly. Hey, so I think I heard I had some people, some Brit bongers in chat here. I'm kind of curious. Is this real about the fucking COVID passport thing? Are they doing that in London? Is that actually going to be a thing? The COVID passports? Because that's blowing the hell up. Oh, stupid shit. Hold on. Why? Why does my window change size every time? I didn't know if that was actually a thing that was happening or not. So, the whole COVID passport thing. Yeah, do nothing to fix systemic issues, play with guns all day. Yeah, Cully Noir is kind of a plant, honestly. Denzel Washington's done it. Fucking Morgan Freeman's done it. See, Morgan Freeman's really bad about that. Hey, Irked, thanks for the sub, by the way. And thank you for gifting the one sub as well. It is very appreciated. I just saw it. That is my bad. Irked, thanks for the sub. Denzel Washington's done it. And again, you see two really big name actors and celebrities who've made millions off of acting and being the one black guy that they'll cast in movies that aren't explicitly written to star a black guy. Like, and they'll think, oh yeah, anybody can do this. Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and Will Smith at one point in time were the only black men who were regularly cast in roles that weren't written explicitly for black men. Right? Will Smith at one point was in talks to be offered not in talks. He was offered the role as Neo in The Matrix. He turned it down because Lawrence Fishburne had already been cast as Morpheus, and he knew that if he took the role as Neo, they would have kicked Lawrence Fishburne off the role, because at the time in Hollywood there was literally a rule in casting that for every black person you add, you took one out of the main cast. Right? So we literally had a period of time where you had Will Smith getting roles like he did in Independence Day and Wild Wild West, both roles that were written for white actors and both roles that almost cost the movie being made because they didn't want to have a black man in the role. And you have Morgan Freeman always having his role as the doting old black dude. Yeah. And you had Denzel Washington as your other black leading man, right? They can't look at something. They were very aware of what was going on. These guys are not ignorant to the fact that this was happening, and he's going to turn around and say, oh, bootstrap, I made it, so can you. Dude, there was hundreds of black leading men in Hollywood who couldn't make it other than you, and you're going to say that everybody is going to pull through just like you did? Come the fuck on, right? I Am Legend is a flawed masterpiece. It is a great movie. I enjoyed it. Not like the books. I think they made an older movie version of that too. Yeah, it's messed up. It's really messed up. But nobody has told me yet. Are they actually doing the health passport thing? Are people really protesting lockdowns? Hey, I don't know how to say your name. Fadil El Mula. Fadil El Mula. Fadil Mula. I'll get it right. Not sure about that costume. The Omega Man. So, listen. Anyone here who happens to live in London, you do not want to deal with the anti-vax, anti-masker crowd that we have over here. You don't want that shit bleeding over to Europe. It's bad here. They're the worst people. You don't want to deal with that. All right, let's see here. You know, I don't know that I've ever watched the director's cut of I Am Legend. I might have to check that out. God, New York Post. I hate their website design. It is terrible. It is so bad. Alrighty. Hey, look at this. Apparently, several states are now starting to reinstate and reauthorize the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I'm going to level with you. The amount of people that experienced any symptoms from it is such a statistically small amount of people who have safely received the J&J vaccine. It should have never been deauthorized. It should have never been pulled in the first place. Like, we're talking 48 people out of the millions who have gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine experienced symptoms. New York Post is not a right-wing media outlet. It's liberal, but it's just, I hate their website design. It's garbage. Use DuckDuckGo better than Google News. You know, I'm just trying to find some headlines to riff on. Ted Lasso shortbread recipe. What? Yes. Hey, this is pretty crazy. I didn't see this. Yes, rest in peace to DMX. How are we back on New York Post? Jesus Christ. Apparently, a monster truck carried DMX to his funeral, to his final resting place. This is pretty cool. This is wild. Long live DMX. Rode in a monster truck. All right, so listen, everybody. Hey, what's up, Will the Warlord? Good to see you. Oh, Irked, thank you for the subs. It is appreciated. It really is. Thank you for the gifted tier 1 subs. I really need to work on making emotes. I really, really should. I have no custom emotes, and I need to make some. I know how to. I've not taken the time. Let's see if we can get some sound off of this. Do 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 do. Let me know if I blast your ears out. Wait, oh no, is it gonna play an ad? Don't play an ad. Don't play an ad. Don't play an ad. Don't play a fucking ad. Jesus Christ. Yes, X gonna give it to you. Listen, DMX had a diverse past. Dude was basically homeless as like a 13-year-old. Right? Made some incredible music. This is if I die, this is what you all have to. Was it loud? Was it loud, everybody? I'm turning it down. I'm turning it down. Yeah, that fucking sucks. I'm not sure. I think some people stepped in to help cover his funeral expenses. Yeah, so if I die, you need to take me out. That is wild. Okay, that's a short clip. Had the opportunity to meet some people in the Rough Riders when I was out in LA. Nice group of guys. Mainly a sport bike group. I don't know why this window keeps changing in size. It's pissing me off. All right, so yeah, DMX is an example of a whole hell of a lot of systemic failures. Had basically, to escape abuse, had to live on the streets in his preteens. Was befriending wild feral dogs living in the streets. It's wild. It's not something I would wish on anyone. Yeah, it's, you know, we have to destigmatize addiction. We really do. Also, you know, medical schools need to destigmatize it. Do you know to this day that there's a definite shortage of addictive medicine specialists? Board certified physicians who are addicted medicine specialists. People who are actually certified in treating people and dealing with physical and chemical dependency as well as addictive behaviors. There's so very few. Like, listen, he's super cringe. He's a terrible human being, and I don't ever support him. But Dr. Drew Pensky is addictive medicine specialist, and he's like one of the few big name addictive medicine specialists out there who are also board certified physicians. Like, and even at a lot of rehab centers, they don't have specialists in this working there. Yeah, even a lot of the rehabs suck, you know? The rich people get rehabs that work. And I mean, you see that everywhere, right? Rich people, they get health care we know nothing about. What was that stem cell shit they did to Trump when he got COVID. Like, this dude was rushed away and got treatments we knew nothing about. And Nathan, I am dog people. I would try and get one of my dogs to come over, but they are sleeping, and they get grumpy when they wake up. I could try to, but I would love for them to come over, but I don't think they're going to listen. Plus, nobody's spent the points yet. Alright, what else am I going to talk about? You guys have to give me more. Yeah, Black Rob passed away. We lost fucking Black Rob. Wasn't he was in his 50s? Like, if not younger than that. Losing some legends from 90s hip-hop. I was a big fan of DMX, actually. I really was, because he would take time to sometimes work on songs that went outside the norm. He distilled that raw anger and rage that came from coming up in the conditions that he had to come up in. Like, he was someone who was regularly booked at hard rock festivals just because of how intense his music was. There's a great video of his out there, I think, where he performed Party Up. I can't remember if it was Ozfest or Download Fest. It was one of those. I might just go find that just for giggles. I don't care if they want to. If the copyright wants to yank the sound from the stream, I'm gonna find that video. Light mode. Oh. Might be kind of techie, but it's news. Hit me with the news. CEO of Signal hacked a tool used by cops to get into encrypted devices and shit. And proved that you can manipulate the info it turns up. Hey, no, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Oh yeah, no, he was at Woodstock 99. That's a very big deal, Birchalac. I might have to look into that. You could find me a link to an article, if you're so kind. That's good techie news. We're all about InfoSec up in here. Everybody, info security, very big deal. Protect yourselves. Protect yourselves from the bastards. Let's see here if I can play this. Once you make something like that, you can't take it back. And there are serious implications of doing something like that, you know? You can't just take back making a key to unlock phones. So the problem with that is, and the guy from Signal found out that how easily this can be abused. And let me see if I can look at this article here. Sorry, one of my dogs was hiccuping in their sleep. So adorable. Go ahead and copy this into my incog. Alright, let's see here. The police phone cracking tools celebrate. I'm going to go ahead and assume that the people behind Signal are a bunch of really based, awesome hackers. CEO of the messaging app Signal CEO of the messaging app Signal. Sorry, my window's acting up. Trying to share it here. Okay, there we go. So the CEO of the messaging app Signal said that he was able to hack a police phone hacking tool. The problem with this, close this bullshit. it's full of vulnerabilities, apparently. Jesus. Why does it have to be made by an Israeli company? Someone could have warned me or primed me with that news that it was made. Jesus Christ. Windows screwing up. Someone could have warned me with that info that it was made by an Israeli company, because then I'd just be like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. That explains literally everything. Because, you know, if you want to find the people hacking into info security, the Mossad is probably tied to it. And I hope that doesn't come off as anti-Semitic. I'm just pointing out that the Mossad tends to be very clandestine. By the colonizer's colonizer, exactly. The thinking man's colonizer. Moxie Marlinspike, the security researcher who founded Signal, detailed a series of vulnerabilities in the surveillance devices made by the Israeli company Celebrite. Marlinspike says those weaknesses make it easy for anyone to plant code on a phone that would take over Celebrite's hardware if it was used to scan the device. It could silently affect all future investigations, but rewrite the data the tools had saved from previous analyses. So, he's been an outspoken critic of Celebrite. They claim to be able to break the signal encryption, and this hacker has dismissed this. Basically, it automates physically extracting and indexing data. Their customer list includes authoritarian regimes like Belarus, Russia, Venezuela, and China, death squads in Bangladesh, military juntas in Myanmar, and those seeking to abuse and oppress in Turkey, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and elsewhere. Some very questionable clientele buying from Israel in that particular case, or buying from an Israeli company. Yep. Police forces around the world use Celebrite's technology to help in digital investigations, particularly when they have managed to get a hold of a physical device owned by a suspect. So he saw a package fall off a truck. He acquired the device when he saw a small package fall off of a truck. He found more than 100 security vulnerabilities, just one of which could modify not just the Celebrite report being generated or being created in that scan, but all previous and future generated Celebrite reports. And they've issued some statements. So this is from The Guardian. Basically, yeah, this looks like a little thing to extract data from cell phone systems. This is not good. This should not be in the hands of the cops. The pigs should not have this stuff to begin with. Now, here's I always have to give a call to action whenever I talk about things like this, and I always have to caution my audience. Listen. And we'll talk about the treatment of Ethiopian Jews in a second in Israel, because that is something that people should talk about. But listen, InfoSec, all right? Cops in America, as we learned all the way back during Occupy, and we learn to this day right now, cops in America, even though they abuse the law to their own whim, they will actively break existing laws to do their cop shit and arrest you. And it doesn't matter that they are actively breaking the law. I want you all to look up something called a stingray. A stingray is a device that police departments have in use all over major cities, all over this country, and it's basically what allows them to get the location and ID info, location info off of your phone, off of your mobile device by pinging it. And it's illegal as shit to use without a warrant. But they do it. They will do it and they don't care. They do this at protests constantly. Last year, people like to talk about how there were no consequences. The chuds like to talk about how there were no consequences for any of the demonstrations. There were over 5,000 arrests made throughout the demonstrations last summer. And we saw this, again, all the way back to the Occupy movement in major cities. They used these stingray devices to ping people's phones and find out exactly where they are, exactly who they are, and they close in and make an arrest using that evidence that they isn't even admissible because it's quite literally wiretapping. It's snooping on someone's digital data without a warrant, and they do it anyway. You leave your phone at home, you take a burner. Unless you have a Faraday cage in your fucking pocket, you don't take your phone. Posted a link to a video about the Stingray. Thank you. Yes, send a link to the video about the Stingray. Stingray is a fucking authoritarian piece of shit that they have no qualms about using when it's in the hands of the fucking pigs. So you have to be prepared for them to be able to break the law to their ends, the same things that they would throw you in jail for using. Now, I'm not saying you should use those things. I am not saying that, you know, a lot of the computers that run in police cruisers are not all that well secured, and I'm not saying that some cops could probably be highly susceptible to something like a pineapple if you were able to pick one up off of eBay or Newegg, and I'm not saying that you could probably spoof a Wi-Fi network and easily get some shit off of the in-car computer inside of the police cars. They use well, I'm not saying that they use Panasonic Toughbooks, although I don't believe that that's what they use. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to tell you what a pineapple is. You can probably figure it out, though, if you do a little bit of looking. Purely educational purposes. So, they will break the law to get their arrests, and no one will hold them accountable for it unless they have the financial means to mount a successful legal defense. All right? This is the thing to keep in mind, people. It really is. And you got to stay safe. You gotta stay safe, all right? It's very important. You leave your devices at home. Listen, I benefit from the fact that I am old. Being old means that I was alive before the internet. Nobody wants to sponsor me, Birchalac. How many hoteps do you know get sponsors? I was around before the internet was in everybody's house. It was a thing for early adopters when I was a kid. Like, most people at the time did not have a computer connected to the internet. I went from that to whatever the hell this is, right? You know, this right here, this phone in my hand, has a stronger processor than some of the computers my dad spent thousands of dollars making when I was younger. So what that means is I've gone from a non-digital age into a digital age. Dial-up. Oh yes, I was there for dial-up. I was there for the AOL, the free AOL minutes discs. I was there for all of that, right? Looking at the internet as we used to back in the 90s, we were hesitant about everything. We were afraid to do online shopping in the mid-90s because it's like, wait, putting in my fucking credit card? Where's this going? Who is this? Where's this shooting off to? I'm not putting my credit card number in there. You kind of need to adopt that boomer mindset a little bit. When you're interacting with things like this, you need to say, hey, if this thing has the ability to just magically send away data to wherever, how can I know someone's not intercepting that with the same level of ease that I'm sending it? I don't know. So I'm paranoid. I don't send shit on here that I don't want other people to see. It's that simple. So, yeah, when you organize, especially if you're organizing, we'll say, outside of the loving embrace of the law, you know, don't do digital records. Digital records are forever. Do shit on paper that you can burn and throw away, right? You know, I would argue that even Signal and WhatsApp and Telegram are not the safest. We just got done talking about a device that can decrypt Signal, and there's probably shit that they have that they're using against the law to decrypt Telegram and read your messages. So, yeah, you need to have a boomer mindset. Be like, hey, I don't trust this information superhighway. What's to stop other people from intervening on that superhighway and getting my information? That's the mindset that you have to have, people. I don't know. Thank you for the great story, Birchalac. What about Discord? Don't organize on Discord. Discord might come off as a fairly based and reasonable company, but they are still a company, right? So you have no reason to think that they're going to protect you. There's nothing that secure about Discord. You shouldn't discuss anything concrete anywhere online. You can make an appointment to discuss things a little bit better in a better setting, but you want, if you know, no, I wasn't talking about that bid, but if you know that you got to talk about something that you wouldn't want that to be a discussion that landed in the hands of the authorities, it needs to be done offline. You might be safer with snail mail, sending a letter. I'm glad that they turned down Microsoft's bid to buy them. I'm not saying that Microsoft would have made Discord worse, but it would have definitely made it a lot more corporate, and that wouldn't be good. And also, Microsoft is terrible. All right, everybody. I need to BRB. I hope everybody doesn't ditch me. I will be right back, gang. And we're back. Just like that. Talking with chat. Having a good time. Having a good time. There is homework with anarchism. That's the first time I heard that one. So, I never actually, I don't discuss too often why I identify as an anarchist, but here's what I like about anarchy in a nutshell, without getting into a huge thing or kerfuffle, if you will. When I encountered anarchists in the wild, when I encountered anarchists doing direct action, doing mutual aid, they don't tend to stop and ask about the best way to do this, the best way to do that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They see problem, and they say solution. People are fucking hungry. Anarchists said, okay, we're going to set up an underground punk kitchen and fucking feed people. That's simple. We're going to use an unlicensed kitchen, cook some food, and hand it out to people. Problem solved. People are hungry. We're going to make some fucking food. Welcome to the chat. Daimvum. Right? They say, hey, people are cold. We're just going to go acquire some warm clothing and give it to the people who are cold and experiencing homelessness or houselessness during this time. It's that simple. So I like it that anarchists tend, and I'm not saying communists don't do shit either, but anarchists tend to be the first ones to say, okay, roll up our fucking sleeves, let's go do this. I make a lot of mean-spirited jokes about online communists and Marxists, and it's all in jest. I once made the crack that, we couldn't have the revolution tomorrow because a year later they'd still be arguing about it on the Our Communism subreddit. So... Hey, Kamazats. Good to see ya. Welcome to the party. Thanks for joining us, Kamazats. I just took a quick break, and now I am here. I don't know what I'm talking about. I came into the stream without a plan today. Normally, I try to do a lecture of some sort. Yeah, the meetings and the such. The DSA tries really hard, guys. The DSA is trying so hard. Let's pat them on the back for that, right? So there is a lot of great anarchist literature out there. There's some great anarchists here in chat who can provide you with some great reading. Yeah, no, revolution, when people talk about revolution, we're talking about a massive shift in society. When we talk about revolution, we are talking about drastically upsetting the norms of everyday life, drastically changing shit. The fact of the matter is that capitalism is a system that we are all forced to live under. So, and it permeates every aspect of our lives, especially here in the Americas. So we're talking about, I don't want to say making things worse for people, but we are talking about a very real systemic and a very real day-to-day change in the lives of people. Yes, it will be live streamed. If I would love to be out there as we set fire to the institutions with my 4K camera, but more than likely I won't be able to get good footage of it. I should try to, though. I really should. Kind of wonder how people do Twitch live. Like, do you have to run it to a phone? I always wondered about that. Like live on the street Twitch streaming. I should do that. It will most definitely get a copyright strike. There's going to be somebody out there blasting some copyrighted music. Who knows? There's a whole ass kit. Huh. I'll have to get that. I'm Kay Swiftly does a lot of on the street work on her live streams, and I am very jealous of her production value and how based she is. So check out Kay Swiftly sometime. By the way, where are my manners? Kamazats is here, an excellent leftist content creator. If you are not familiar with Kamazats, all of you should stop and take a moment to go, Jesus, Irked, thank you for the subby for Kamazats. Thank you for the gifted. Am I going to do any gaming in this channel? I do, Nathan, I do tons of gaming on this channel. I just didn't really have any gaming set up for tonight. I thought I might play Crossout or something, but I didn't. It was having some trouble showing up in my slobs here, And yes, ups for Zoe Baker. I couldn't get any GANs. Yeah, I have no plans. If you all give me just a moment, I can hop on with Daddy Zotz, and maybe we'll have a fun chat. No, shut up, Birchalac. Elder Scrolls Online is fun. Yeah, I do plenty. If you look in my VODs, either on YouTube or Twitch, I do a lot of gaming. I tend to do lectures while I play games, and Elder Scrolls Online is fun, Birchalac. Be quiet. Yeah, give me 2 seconds to find Comrade Zotz on Discord, and we'll figure something out here, all right? Do we? Yeah. No problem whatsoever. I'm going to whisper you on Twitch my Discord thing. As soon as I find it, because I always forget it. There we go. Good to see other dads doing this online leftist thing. Are you telling me, Birchalac, that you don't like Elder Scrolls Online? I will have you know, I've taken like almost a 2-month break from ESO because, you know, I was playing some other games, and then I got hooked into Stardew Valley for a long time, and that's a big hole to sink into, trust me. And then I bought a Switch on an impulse buy pretty much around the same day. Hey, have a good night, Fruit Bats. Pretty much around the same day that I did an impulse buy of a 4K video camera, because I'm crazy and I should not be trusted with money. Shout out to the dads, indeed. Yeah, just turn this back on so I don't have pings blowing the whole thing up. Turn that on. Turn that down. Turn that thing on. Alright. Spend a lot of time dead when I played on stream. What are you saying? Like I don't talk a lot when I play ESO on stream? Yeah, probably. I'm usually focused, but I can tell you that just with my inability to split focus, I'm probably like that if I play any game. Stardew Valley is amazing, Fruit Bats. Animal Crossing. Have not played it yet. Have not played it yet. I think someone loaned it to us. I'm not sure. But I've heard mixed things. People fell down into that hole as well. Next, buy a super nice mic and start an ASMR channel. ASMR. If anyone's played Gabriel Tosh, who don't even know who that is. Listen, I could do an ASMR. Yeah. I'll let you know. Yeah. Birchalac, that was a listen, the reason I screwed up at that fight was because I had a few too many whiskeys and my reflexes were off. That was a god-awful boss fight. That was a horrible run. Horrible dungeon run. You know, everyone keeps telling me I should do ASMR. I guess I have a really good voice for ASMR. I don't get ASMR, so I feel like I'd be bad at it because I don't understand what the appeal is. Like, would I just be here, like, crinkling a can, talking really lowly into the microphone? Just, like, talking really, really close into the microphone. No, I don't get it. Is it just having a relaxing tone? I don't know. Nathan Madeira, to answer your question, friend pending request here, accept. I tend not to play, I guess, hyped games. I tend not to play very hyped games just because I don't spend money on games that regularly. I'm sure it's a great game. I'm not saying it's not a good game. I'm sure it's a wonderful game. But it's just not something I do very often. I know it's a good way to farm content. It's a good way to get lots of viewers. You play newer games, you get a lot more viewers that way. It's just not something that I do very often. I have the games I like to play. I play a lot of... I don't know who Mr. Steech Dave is. No, it's not that I'm a hipster. It's just that I have some games that I like. I don't know who Mr. Steech Dave is. By the way, nice. Thanks for joining the chat. So lovely, Mina. I have no idea who Steech Dave is. And Zotz, whenever you're ready, just shoot me a thing and let me know, and we can have a fun chat with the people here. Halo 3 was a great game. I worked at a retail store that sold video games when Halo 3 came out, and they actually had a midnight launch party for Halo 3 and costume competition. They assumed that all of the Halo fanatics would show up in costume, and they'd have a fun little costume competition in the gaming department. No one showed up in costume, and they were giving away a collector's edition with the fucking Master Chief helmet, and the box was this big. I do not know who Brandon Wynn is. Hey, what's up, swag? And so literally some guy who worked in the warehouse there, who was going to go and buy the game himself at the end of his shift, went and made a costume out of cardboard boxes and won the prize. No idea who Brandon Wynn is. It's Gayan. I thought it was pronounced Wynn. I have no idea how to pronounce it then, if that's how it's spelled. I'm bad with those names. Post-vaccine sickness. Hope I'm doing. I am doing well. I just had the first shot, the Pfizer gang, so all I had was some stiffness in my arm. I'm told the second shot is a real doozy. Rioma, thanks for joining me, by the way. Glad that you're watching. It's very appreciated. It really is. You're special, and I love you. Second person to mention that. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer Love, screw it. Yeah, mine was about a week ago. Don't make any plans after the second Moderna shot. Yeah, they said that Pfizer's the second shot is this an Among Us imposter stream? What the fuck are we talking about? Jesus Christ. When did chat shit the bed? Holy shit. I've known a couple people with a name spelled that way, and I was told it was pronounced Wen. Like you pronounced it Wen. Hey, da MVM. Okay. I'm beginning to wonder how many people are here from Discord. It's starting to worry me. I'm getting concerned. They're going to spill all my dirty secrets. Listen, anything they say about me to the rest of my epically based chat is not true. None of it's true. I don't know. What was I doing here? Supposed to have somebody join me for a chat here, but whenever they're ready. I've always heard it pronounced when. It's pronounced rucksack. All right, all right, all right. Well, let me look at some more news stuff. Birchalac, you've left me without any more news stories. You know what? Let me look at this. See what's on the Guardian. We'll see what they're talking about. U.S. News, Guardian. Johnson & Johnson vaccine is being re-released. I think that I don't know that it should have been stopped to begin with. We covered Biden was the nope, not falling into that trap. We're not talking about it. Long story short, the first sitting U.S. president has acknowledged the Armenian genocide for what it is, an Armenian genocide. So, good. Small victory there as well. We talked about small victories earlier. Florida family indicted for selling bleach as a fake COVID cure. Alabama... I'm trying not to get too doomery on this stream because, listen, y'all, I know my content tends to be very somber and very serious. Yeah, Nathan Madeira, we were going to talk about, so go check out the grape-flavored glove. I'm not watching the grape-flavored glove video on stream. That sounds disgusting. Yeah, Ethiopian treatment on the Jews. So, now, this situation has slightly improved, but Israel has been really shitty to Ethiopian Jews. About 40,000 Ethiopian Jews migrated to Israel because there's a small but sizable at the same time population of Jewish Ethiopian people. And Israel positioned itself as this state to Jews all over the world, saying, hey, come here. This is your homeland. Come to the Jewish home here. And they proceeded to treat Ethiopian Jews, aka like the only black Jews, horribly. You know, they basically left them as refugee status for years under completely falsified claims that they were spreading disease. It sounds very familiar. You know, I keep saying America does not need to keep exporting their xenophobia and their nationalism. We have enough problems with it here. We don't need other countries doing our bullshit. And so Ethiopian Jews were pretty much relegated to second-class citizen status for a very long time within the borders of Israel. They do tend... Israeli authorities, I don't like to speak in generalizations about an entire country's worth of people, but yes, the authorities and the policies tend to be very discriminatory towards non-European, non-white European Jewish people. And that's something that a lot more criticism should be leveled against Israel about, because it's pretty obvious and it's not something that they can cover up very well. Irked, yes, they did. They came up with this manufactured fear out of nowhere that the Ethiopian Jews should not be allowed in society because they were coming with contagious diseases. It was very gross, very ugly, and some pretty blatant xenophobia and racism. It was not cool at all, and it was very uncalled for. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, it's pretty fucked. You would think that a country that still holds several people in high positions of power who are fucking Holocaust survivors would know better than to espouse that kind of nationalism. All right, hold on, everybody. We're gonna jump into call here. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. Yep, give me just a second to set this up. Alright. kill the music here. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Okay, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am. All right. Hey, no problem. If you if things went too smoothly, I would have to think you were a Fed. That's all that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they say the chat says that they can't hear you now. Yeah, chat. Wait, hold on. Is
Wait. Okay, how about now? Hello. Yes, can you hear me? Yes. Birchelak, can you hear me? All right, good. All right, so yeah, as I was saying, folks, unplanned, but technical issues aside, I'm chatting here with Camazotz on stream tonight. It's fun. I'm a big fan of yours, and I think we've briefly collaborated from time to time on other people's. I think you were on a charity stream that I was also on at one point, but we've never had the chance to chat. I didn't know you were a fan. I'm honored.
yeah, no, I've definitely popped in and out as well. I've lurked here and there in your streams. But yeah, no, it's always neat when you find out like other streamers are like lurking, like, you know, in the wings. Even if you don't know that they're there.
Yeah, no, it's been a weird day for that. If I hadn't said it earlier, or if people missed it, make sure you go subscribe to Camazotz, please. Does some excellent work. Makes great content. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like any other minority in this platform. I just sit around and yell about white people.
Hey, listen, 50% of my praxis is making white people uncomfortable. If you've read anything about my Twitter, you'll see that that's like part of my whole deal. So, listen,
yeah, no, definitely.
I'm not saying that we need to abolish white people. Unlike capitalism or the police, they can be reformed. So
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, first and foremost, obviously, right? Like it's we gotta change, you know, we gotta get people to and yo, shout out to Soft Boy Social Club out there, Breadbeard. I see there in chat.
Wait, they're here?
Huh. Yeah.
So
So
Soft Boy Social Club, what's up?
Yeah, what up, Breadbeard? How you doing? Yeah, I mean, like talking with that homie a lot, you know, you know, just like a lot of the things where it's just like a lot of the things about like just like destroying your white identity, right? Like that's the bit that's like the first step to like in my to just, you know, understanding that, you know, you have to do the root work to figure out, you know, what was stolen from you by the homogenous blob that is whiteness that, you know, only exists to keep people divided and to uphold capitalism, right? Like that's like one of the biggest pillars of capitalism within, especially within empire, you know. And yeah, so it's once again, it's not about white people, it's about whiteness, you know. And once you fucking realize that, you know, it's like it's like brushing your teeth after being hungover, you know, like you just you're still
you
not
cannot do, you can't
you're
do the
still
Cotton Eye Joe anymore. That is
yeah.
going to be verboten. That shit is banned. All right, it is fucking haram. All right, no more Cotton Eye Joe. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I just
you're
had to
fine.
air
You're
out
fine.
my
I'm just
personal jihad.
laughing. I'm just laughing. But yeah, I mean, I think we've like you said, like passing ships in the night, more or less, right? Like it's I think like I've come on like a stream or two when you were on EJ, like on a panel with EJ or something like that, and then like or like like a skeleton crew type thing, and then just kind of like be dipping off as you're coming. There's like just really awkward leanings up, but there have been definitely a lot of people that is like, hey, you should reach out to Car, like Black Anarchist. Well, and I feel like like we probably have. I'm sure you talk a lot with like Deadman and Simba and Saber and all the homies.
I'm bad about doing any kind of collaborations or features just because I'm shit at scheduling. I am. I'm so bad at it, and there's been people who've wanted to work with me, and it's taken me weeks to find a day to get it done. I mean, you're a parent as well, and
parent and got a full-time job, so I definitely understand.
I work 40 hours a week after this. I'm a parent, and so. Yeah, I am familiar with Deadman and a number of other people. I've had the fun and rare opportunity to work with EJ and you probably know Trekkie as well.
Oh yeah, yep.
And it's very rewarding, and I need to do it more often, and I need to do more live streams, and I need to get my ass in gear, and
it's like
do more of my scripted videos.
Oh, man, scripted videos are the worst, aren't they? I'm currently the one. So for me, it's about I'm like a passion person, right? Like,
yeah,
I have to like have that spark. I have to have that like that bug up my ass to be like, this is something that I really want to commit to, because it's just like I have things started, but then it's just kind of like I go to them and I'm like, oh, well, I should add this into it, I should add that into it, whoa. But like now, the one thing that like I'm like all about right now is tightening up this script for on mixed race. It's called Mixed Race and White Supremacy. That's gonna be my next video. And that's coming along. I just want to get a couple more opinions from people, and like there's just because it's just like mixed is awkward for a lot of people,
it's hard for people to interact with, even to this day. It's and Lord knows I'm not in the business of telling people who their romantic partners should be. I think though that we struggle to come to terms with things like power structures and things that might be like internalized when approaching things like interracial relationships and such.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like one of the lines, like one of the things here, I can pull it up because I was working on the script last night and I didn't close it out. Let's see. So I mean, obviously there's like there's like a point in the script where like I talk about, I'm trying to find like the actual thing. The concept of like, so like damn it, I articulated it so well, I don't want to have to try to rethink about it.
Yeah.
The idea that so like for me, being Mexican, there's a lot that comes with it, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So for like and I touch on this too about like the pedantry of people being like, well, Mexican isn't a race, and it's just like, okay, yeah, but unfortunately, please recognize that we live within empire where people don't know the difference between somebody from Ecuador or somebody from Mexico, right? Like we're all south of the border. we're all illegals,
And
right? Like that's
it may not be academically a race, but it's most certainly an ethnicity, because an ethnicity, is pulled together more than just, a taxonomic race. It's a culture, and
mhm.
Mexican is absolutely a cultural identity, both here in the States as well as in Mexico. So like, people get a bit dismissive when they talk about that, and it's as an ethnicity and as a culture, it's definitely been targeted a great deal here in the Americas, especially here in North America.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I found the paragraph or the section I was talking about. So this is a portion of the script. A mixed identity in a society of white supremacy is awkward, to say the least, and downright alienating. I'm still trying to figure it out because the all-consuming cancerous mass that is whiteness makes it extremely difficult to explain to people within empire. If you believe that blood quantum or the one drop rule is a real thing and not a tool of domination, you might not understand that mixed people can have a conflict with how you view us. Hell, even people who are actively fighting against white supremacy often see mixed people as a weakness to their cause. Because the colonial history of rape, quote, breed out the savage. It's not our fault who our parents are, in what territory we were born, or how we are raised. There is a burden of responsibility on those of us who are separated from our cultural heritage to do the root work and learn about the struggles and history of our people. Learn what brought our parents here to the empire that had forced them to come here in the first place. So yeah, so that was a portion of it.
I think that's something that a lot of people lose, and you put it very eloquently there, and I think you delivered it in a way that might get it through to somebody, like, hey, people on the left, let's recognize that people who are of mixed racial backgrounds can be allies and can be very in tune with the struggles, but when you're addressing right wingers, point out that, like, hey, this is still a problem. You're still punching down at a marginalized group of people. No, I like how you put it there. The problem in North America is people say the schools are failing us. No, the education system has been failing us for about 300 or 400 years, and that's the sad truth. So sometimes people can't even grasp how much white supremacy was baked into the founding of this country, and not just the European settlers here in the area where I am, the British and French settlers and the German settlers that were here in this area, but the Spaniards that settled throughout Mexico and things like that. Colonialism has its footprints across the fucking continent.
Oh yeah, yep. I addressed that all in here too, because for me, like, and I state earlier on like, one of the first things that I talk about is how, first and foremost, this is my personal perspective, right? I cannot speak on the behalf of other people's lived experience. I am not the arbiter of all mixed people, right? Because different cultures handle that shit in different ways. You know what I mean? Like the way that, mixed identity happens within the Black culture, the way that mixed identity happens in Asian culture, so on and so forth. It's all fucking different,
Absolutely.
and it also depends on fucking, and a lot of that also comes down to, regional areas too, right? Because then it's like, like, how white presenting are you, and not only how white presenting are you, but like, what level of affluence is your family? You know what I mean? Like, that also takes part into it. There's so many different levels that happen.
Don't forget religion plays a huge part in it. Like Christianization of a lot of colonized people is what took place throughout, what's currently Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador. Missionaries. I've always considered missionaries to be 2.0 colonialism, or colonialism second edition, if you will, or the second wave of colonialism, because to enforce those Eurocentric values, they also have to go and erase people's spiritual past and replace it with Eurocentric Christianity. And so you were probably raised around a lot of Christian people, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've spent the majority. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm mixed. I've spent the majority of the time with my mother, who is of Irish and Finnish descent. So, and that's like, and I say that instead of saying white because, and I've encouraged my mother to identify as that, in order to, because in order to break down, chop at that tree that is white supremacy, to try to destroy that pillar. Stop identifying as white. Stop using that fucking term. Separate yourself, Um, and so, yeah, so that's one of the things so my mother is of Finnish and Irish descent. My dad separated from us when I was at a young age. And yeah. And so it's there. My experience is very unique to other people, other mixed people too. And the other thing is, why I really want to do this fucking video is because mixed individuals are gonna be more common, right?
No, they're going to be more common with every passing day in this country.
Yeah. Like, so, and whether people are comfortable with it or not, like, it's something that has to be talked about, like there are going to be, and like trying to like do research to get like different perspectives on this thing. There isn't a whole lot of like straight up like relevant literature from the perspective that like I'm looking for, there isn't like a whole lot, there's not a whole lot of like somebody talking about this, like what does it mean to be mixed race under empire, and then also from like a perspective of what brought their family here and stuff like that.
So what would you like to see added to the discourse, coming from your unique background, that you think would be helpful? And let's say, coming from other leftists of color, other BIPOC leftists, and even other white leftists or other European leftists. What would you like to see added to the discourse?
I mean, like in regards to like this particular thing, I want everyone to understand first and foremost that like this, like a mixed identity is something that is going to be is like one more thing that is going, it's one more thing that divides people, when in actuality it should be bringing people together, right? Like the unity of two different cultures, heritages, races, however you want to put it, should be like that's a beautiful thing. That should be a beautiful thing, right? Unfortunately, in some places it's used to continually divide people, right? Once again, like talking about like the white passing thing, right? So it's like, how much white privilege do you benefit from? And then also people like not understanding that. And then when people are because like I've personally been excluded out of things when like within, because like I'm a member of the IWW, right?
Yes, industrial
And
workers unite.
yes, yeah, exactly. No bosses, no cops. We but I remember like one of the initial things when I was first a member, there was like there was an issue with not enough BIPOC representation within the chapter, so or within the branch. And so like one of the things was is they're like like who wants to lead it, blah blah blah, and I like raised my hand, and one of my New African homies that was there was just like, who didn't really know me at the time, had said like, well, hey, I don't really think that we need like a white person here. And I was like, I'm Mexican. And they're like, well, white passing then. And that was the first time that like I had encountered that in my life, like where somebody had said it to my face,
Right.
And so, and it was like, okay, and then like talking with them afterwards, it's like, okay, like, hey, can you explain this to me a little more? Like, I understand that, I understand that, I come from, how I sound, who I'm around. I get it. Like, I'm not gonna say that there isn't like some monicum of fucking, white passing privilege that has been given to me for, where I live. But at the same time, that's not to say that I also haven't, been discriminated against. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been taken out of cars, you know, unjustly just as soon as the cop fucking reads my last name. You know what I mean? Like there's there's and so whatever. So the conversation pretty much went like, you know, like, yeah, like not to shit on you or nothing, but you know, it's just something that like people might not be comfortable with if you are going up to them, talking to them, and you know, you look the way you do.
Yeah, you know, and it seems like that person probably could have found more helpful ways to engage with whatever discomfort they were feeling. And I worry, my concern would be, you know, are they going to alienate other potential comrades in that situation? You mentioned earlier a great point. You know, everybody, depending on their ethnic or racial background, can experience these issues differently, and we have to be cognizant of that. Your experiences are going to be differ slightly from mine. And mine will differ slightly from someone of Asian descent, someone from China or someone from Japan or someone from Indonesia and things like that. You know, race is a social construct. Sadly, it is one forced upon a lot of us. We don't have a choice. It was forced upon black people with the barrel of a gun. And right now, what we want to do, what I would like to do is remove the oppressive powers behind that social construct, and then we can get about the process of abolishing race as a concept and abolishing the everything acting as a sort of negative, or everything acting as a sort of comparison to whiteness, which is what you see a lot of right now. That's what Franz Fanon wrote about in heavy extent.
I really need to read more of him. I feel like there's like a huge gap in my knowledge by not by only reading like quotes or snippets, you know, like little things here and there. Like I think that's something that I really need to get on. I think now that I think about it, I should probably make a note of it, because right after I finish.
It's very rewarding. Wretched of the Earth, it makes for great reading. And I would also say, maybe you can at least tell me this. Are you, because I lived on the West Coast quite a bit. Are you on the West Coast?
No, I'm in the Midwest.
Ah, okay. So am I. Regulars here know I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's it's a fun place to be.
I've been all over. I've been all over the Midwest, Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois. Lived for 10 years in Chicago. All over the place. So
it's all Ohio. It's just briefly interesting chat. Thank you, Philosophy of Time Travel. Looks like I've gotten some of your fans, and your fans are wonderful. Hi, Ink and Teeth. Thanks for joining us. Impromptu chat with Camazot, someone who I'm actually overjoyed to have the chance to talk to here on this very poorly organized stream of mine.
It's fine. This is how anarchists work. This is how anarchists truly work.
Do you think we schedule shit?
Like, listen, the meetings just get in the way. Okay, like
we don't schedule shit. You will perplex us with your calendars and planners and
I got one homie. He's fucking amazing. And when we were looking, he's part of the space committee with me. And every time we would like schedule to meet like at a location to like check out like a building, right? Check out like a spot, right? He would always be the first one there. He was always like 10, 15 minutes early. And then like I would be like right on time of it. And then like 2 or 3 of the other committee members would like trickle in.
Varying degrees of late.
Yeah, varying degrees of late. Yeah. And and like he would just kind of like, he wouldn't be upset, but he's like, I gotta be the most punctual fucking anarchist in this fucking city. And I was just like, yeah, no, you are.
Yeah, no, a big meetup that I went to last year, you know, I think I was told like 11 a.m. we were gonna go march. We showed up at 11 a.m. and it was probably 2 hours before we got moving. there were people before the crowd got to a respectable size. It was probably a solid 2 hours before even the MC of the event actually took the stage, and I'm just like, Jesus, criminy.
Yeah. Also, first and foremost, shout out to the homie Wolfgang. That's Ink and Teeth in chat. He's a good comrade. He's been around in my community since I like first started all this nonsense. And yeah, syndicate. Yeah, the IWW. All we do is like sit through meetings and go through shit. That was the meeting joke. While like we might not be nitpicking how the revolution is going to happen, we got to make sure that it's at least. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks Wolfgang for correcting me. I know. Thank you for correcting me. The revolution might not happen on time, but that's only because it has to be agreed upon by at least a 2/3 majority, and the stack has to and everyone who's on stack has to at least have their say.
Yeah, I'm not even a syndicalist, so I guess I'm an anarcho-blackist in that I'm an anarchist and I'm black. And
have you read anarcho-black or anarcho-blackness? I think is what it is.
I probably haven't. I'm way behind on theory. I was just telling Stream earlier that I'm not fucking reading Capital unless I'm paid to record it as an audiobook.
No. Yeah, anarcho-blackness. Yeah, no, we read anarcho-blackness on my screen. On my stream. It's I think I have a PDF I can send you if you're interested.
Yeah, link it.
It's a pretty short read, but it's like it's short. Okay, it's a very small. It's only like 96 pages. Okay, and
I might find the focus to actually do that then.
And yeah, it's only 96 pages. The thing is it's very dense. Like I should probably read this like another 2 or 3 times. Like I've read it twice so far, but there is still a whole lot to get through it. Like,
well, at the risk of overcommitting myself, if with some of that great anarcho-syndicalist planning, if you want, and I can offer my dulcet tones to a live reading of it, with enough time to get through the subject matter in its entirety, I'd be happy to join in.
Oh hell yeah, we can definitely do like a reading. We can definitely do like a small like reading stream together. I've been I'd love to read this. I feel like this is like really good for just kind of like deconstructing anarchy, like, because in all honesty, this is the concepts that Marquis Bay talks about in anarcho-blackness. I feel like ties really well within like also like if you wrap it up alongside like Zapatismo. And it's I just feel like because like, so basically anarcho-blackness it takes like some like obviously like the most basic points of like classical anarchism. However, it brings it it pushes it through the lens of like black feminism and transgender theory, as well as like, but and then also like the concept of like what it is
anarcho-blackness. Birchalac, find that and send me a Discord link, please, so I don't forget. I'm bad at reading chat, so Birchalac, help me find that. Yeah, I will definitely look into that, because I think there definitely abso-fucking-lutely needs to be a more black female voices on the feminism discussions that are taking place. It's definitely hurting us that it's a Eurocentric conversation. Yes, Vive Zapatistas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to get some of their coffee. I am a coffee snob, so I do love coffee.
I want to get, I haven't been able to get any of their coffee. There's 3 things that I want off of, you can, oh shit, shout out to Alki Historiker in chat too.
Hey, oh, Alki, I am read on Kumboa Irvin. That's usually what I recommend for Black Anarchy if people ask me for text. So Yeah, no, Converter
Yeah,
Urban, very based. It's usually what I recommend to people. Philosophy of Time Travel. I didn't have a chance to address you. We were shitting on Brit Bongers earlier. I'm being nice now. But yeah, I'm glad that we have some Brits in chat. Welcome to the party.
We'll have to, yeah, if you have a list of like Black anarchist authors, I would love to read more.
There's a
on that.
page that has actually cataloged them very nicely. If you give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. Drop it throw it in the Twitch
throw
chat,
it in
and
chat
then I'll,
here.
yeah.
Or I'm gonna throw it at Birchalac on the Discord and have them parse it for me.
Yeah, that would be dope. Yeah. So yeah, what it kind of get going back to your original question about like what I would want to see achieved or whatever. Like with, I mean, I want people, especially those who are engaging with online content, as a way to kind of release the pressure of feeling inadequate to fight within the struggle, right?
Yeah.
I want them to understand that there's more that they can do than just absorb content. I want them to also understand that part of that process is knowing that the left is inclusive, but people should respect private spaces.
Absolutely.
Not like, like there is like, for example, like Deadman and like Deadman, Jet Cloud, Young Simba, Saber, Jupiter. There's like a whole like Black content creators, like leftist content creators, like thing. Like they got their own whole like thing, right?
Yeah.
And that is a space that needs to be respected, right? Like I have never once asked to be brought into there. Like I have never once, like whatever. Because yeah, like it just inherently I knew that wasn't where I didn't need to be in it, right? Like,
Right.
But I know there's a lot more people that don't understand that, right? That would see something like that and then just kind of be like, but I want to, it's just like, no, you don't need to be in there. You don't need to take up space. You don't need to take up energy in those conversations.
Yeah, and
So
it's sometimes we don't necessarily need people taking up all that oxygen that maybe aren't sharing that lived experience. Now, and I like to think I'm pretty approachable for everyone, but yeah, it makes sense. I don't I do cultivate some online spaces that I feel are best beneficial to Black creatives and conscious Black activists, but and to be able to respect that and understand that is something many people on this platform don't quite get, which is sad. Like, and I have that same apprehension to invade on those spaces. Like, are you familiar with Universal Discourse, for instance? Native conversations. It is most nobody has a solid level of understanding of the plight of the Native people here in the Americas and what they're currently fighting for. People are just very disconnected from it. And
absolutely.
That's the fault of education. That's the fault of the systemic structures. But if you have somebody who is taking the initiative to be outspoken on those Native issues and be educated and to organize on that, that is absolutely the voice we need to defer to on that. They don't need me in there hogging all the oxygen in that conversation, no more than other outsiders to the Black experience in the Americas should either. Yeah, take care, Dan Air, and don't know why Birchalac keeps getting auto-modded. Hold on a second. Let me do a thing.
Is fellow work is the word fellow like banned? It like
I have no idea.
That's weird.
I don't know how Twitch commands work. I tried to give you moderator, Birchalac. I don't know how to do it though. I think it works.
But yeah, it's like that's just like there and if for me, okay. one of the biggest frustrations for me is about like in this moment, and another reason why I kind of want to like make sure that this video that I'm putting out, or the script that I'm working on, is as tight as it can be, is because I want white content creators to engage with this video. I want to see it played on Twitch. And I want the concepts that are in it, especially once I start really getting into like the concept of white supremacy and how it spreads and how it obstructs like a racial unity, or quote unquote racial unity. Right. Cause like I said before, like race mixing, quote unquote, I hate that fucking term, but you know what I'm saying? Like people fucking should be a beautiful thing. All right.
Yes.
You can clip that. All right. People fucking should be a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
And but because of but there's so many people, but because of the system that we live under, whiteness seeks to, it's like the devil on the shoulder, right? Like it just like, it's like, oh, you're not being completely accepted within, by your friends, or by the people around you in your neighborhood, or woo woo, like come over here and we'll you can sing and dance for us and we'll take care of you, like that sort of thing. So I want people to engage with this content and I want it to be as tight as possible, because I know that they're going to be fucking dipshit people like Vosh who are going to open their silly fucking mouths about shit that they don't fucking understand. I'm not sure how you feel about, I'm not sure how you feel about him or whatever, but
what I like to say is I don't name names generally. Okay. I am a master of vague posting. Probably not a good trait to have, but I would. Here's what I will say. I will say that
the opinions of the guest do not represent necessarily the opinions of the host.
No, what I'll say is in regards to a certain breed of online Caucasian-leaning content creators. Yeah, he was in chat earlier, actually.
First world white leftists. That's what I say.
Yes. Some people. Well, I learned early on that a mistake I didn't want to making content, having watched a lot of these people, is that you can just learn the merits of staying in your fucking lane. I stay in my lane, and I think that's a lesson that could be learned by a number of notable leftist content creators. So, anyone's watching, your lane is sometimes a good place to stay and take a seat.
Let me, since there might be some crossover between his community, your community, what have you.
Oh,
right?
There's definitely crossover.
So if there's crossover, right? I first and foremost, let me fucking bend your ear for a second. All right.
Sure.
It's not necessarily that I think him to be an absolute fucking core to the bone racist, right? Like there are some homies of mine that do believe that. Okay. I am 100% not certain that is the case. Okay. However, I feel like, as we have stated before, right? Like that concept of whiteness and having to chip away at white identity in order for us to truly succeed at toppling capitalism, is something that needs to be challenged by white people themselves and getting in touch with what white identity has taken from them. Okay. So for example, people in, so for example, Italian people, Italians, the Irish, these are groups of people that, white supremacists or, or like white people within empire typically throw out, right? Like you hear the common thing of, saying that, oh, Irish were slaves too, right?
Yeah.
When there's a massive difference between indentured servitude that you can work and pay your way out of and chattel slavery.
Yeah, no, I've said it till I was blue in the face. It's an argument I have pretty regularly on hell sites like Facebook.
So it's just like, so what I want to say then, is while I don't recognize a white identity, I still recognize that the Irish are a colonized people because they are.
Right.
Right. I recognize that the Welsh and the Scottish are also a colonized people. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with their melanin content. It has nothing to do with how dark they get in the sun. You know what I'm saying? So all I ask from my fair-skinned homies is, to take a look at do the root work on yourself and figure out what it means to be, who you are in this place and time. What is your heritage? Like what brought you your family here in the first place, right? Now, there are people, and not only with fair-skinned people, right? And fair-skinned is what I would typically, because saying like, that's for me, that's the term that is better used for instead of saying white people, right? We can say fair-skinned people. So for fair-skinned people, as well as there are other people where they say like, well, I've never been to my country, right? I've never been to Africa. Right. I've never been to Ecuador. I'm not going to identify as an African. Right. I'm not going to identify as, same thing. Like I'm not German. I've never been to Germany. I don't speak fucking German. I'm an American. Right. I was born here. This is the thing that I want. Right. So what's the root work that needs to be done if you are going to cultivate an identity within the United States? The root work that has to be done is you need to understand how the empire formed and what is being done by the empire you live under now in order to become a world power, how it's structured, what it has done in order to maintain its imperial control across the entire fucking planet. Right. And then in that aspect, wanting to do better for the people that exist within your country.
Yeah.
Wanting your nation, wanting your people to not be massive exploiters and murderers and, genocide and learning your history and not perpetuating this the United States identity of imperialism and genocide and war, right? Like do better and understand why it's important that you do better. Not necessarily because your ancestors are not your ancestors, but not necessarily because like our fair-skinned homies will say like, I shouldn't say homies because most of the time when this argument comes up, they're not necessarily in my friend circle. But when fair-skinned people say like, I've never fucking owned slaves, like that fucking trope.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what this is about. Okay. You need to acknowledge, right, that the United States wouldn't be in any capacity what it is if not for chattel slavery. The White House itself, all across this nation, the infrastructure of this nation was built on the backs of fucking slaves.
Yeah, absolutely. The White House was built by slaves. The Capitol was literally designed by a slave, right? People don't know that. So the force that made this country a superpower ultimately came from chattel slavery. It's what fueled their industrial revolution. And so it's what fueled them through wars. It's what fueled their economy. It's what grew them from a settlement to a colony to an empire ultimately. And yeah, this is even efforts to educate people in this are often fought. Even the most even the most milquetoast centrist politically efforts like 1619 Project, for example, fairly tame works of education are lambasted and they fight against it tooth and nail. So, and that I think is something, if you extrapolate that out, when you look at people, even other content creators, there needs to be a level of understanding like this is the beast we're pushing up against. White supremacy is top to bottom in all of our institutions. And you have to understand that foe when you engage with black people inhabiting this space, Mexican Americans inhabiting this space, so forth and so on, and indigenous people operating in this space. There's no comparison to what they're experiencing.
And so it's just like, one of the indigenous politicians stood up recently and she said, any discussion about climate change, indigenous people, First Nations people need to be included in that conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because while they make up 5% of the world's population, right? They are responsible for maintaining 80% of the planet's ecological diversity. They are literally the reason why the rainforests in South America still exist. They are literally why, in Africa also the rainforests still exist.
Yeah, no.
You understand what I'm saying?
Indigenous people are literally the ones carrying the flag to be the wardens for what's left of our environment that we haven't destroyed. They should not just be part of the conversation. They should be central to the conversation. We talked earlier on stream about water crises that are popping up throughout this country, and that is something that indigenous people have been fighting for years. They've been literally fighting over fucking water.
Yeah.
Since before I was born.
So believe me, and I'm sure you do when I say this, right? That when an indigenous comrade steps up to offer advice on how we should move forward, we should fucking listen to them.
Oh, you will find no disagreement
in the same way that I would listen to you or any other of my black or new African homies, in the same way that I would listen to anybody, any of my like fucking primos, right? Any of my cousins, right? Whether they be from like Mexico, Honduras, Colombia, Nicaragua, Panama, wherever the fuck, whatever country they come from, south of the United States border, or hell, even the Caribbean, right?
Yeah,
I would listen to them, right? Before I listen to a fair-skinned person who, doesn't want to, or before I listen to a fair-skinned person that wants to step up and be heard above all those other people first. Right? Like, and to me, that's one of the things, like when people ask me or message me like, hey, what can I do to be, a better ally? Right. And I say, first of all, stop. Like, you don't want to be an ally. You want to be an accomplice. Okay. Sink the allyship, become an accomplice. All right. I need somebody who is not only going to stand shoulder to shoulder with me throughout the whole fucking thing, but I need somebody who is going to be there enough to like get arrested with me. Be put. I need an ally will ditch me the second that the cops show up to clear away us blocking the intersection, right?
Oh,
an accomplice
who are putting their skin in the game, just like you are.
Exactly, putting themselves in as much, putting themselves in as much. I don't want to necessarily say danger, but putting themselves in as much, I guess, risk as I'm willing to put myself in.
They need to have that equal level of investment. It needs to be reciprocated, and I get that entirely. And that's part of what we try to talk about, when we talk about black advocacy, we have enough allies. We don't really need allies. We need accomplices. And honestly, we need. I talked about this. I don't know if you're familiar with Soup Poo, great Twitch streamer. She's a really great person. And I said, hey, listen. I'm not ever going to say to someone that you have to reject your privilege, because you can't reject privilege. That's not how it works. It's still there. What you can do, though, is weaponize it, right? You can weaponize that privilege for bad, and you can weaponize that privilege for good. And so you can be that buffer to the police, because it is demonstrated they are much less likely to split the head open of somebody who is not a person of color, as opposed to a person of color demonstrated. You can be that voice that's palatable to other white or Eurocentric peoples who are not going to come and listen to me, some rambling drunken hotep at 12:53 in the AM, right? You can be that person that they talk to, and use that privilege that you have, use that readiness that people have to listen to you to actually do something good. You can weaponize your privilege for good. A lot of people, I think, seem to forget this. Whatever privilege you have, you can use it for good as well as bad. And I think maybe that's something we could educate people better on, is how to use what privilege they do have in this society to advance the cause and actually be an accomplice, actually put some skin in the game, actually put an investment into the end goal. And
absolutely.
Virtual, can you link Soup Poop's Twitch? I don't have it here.
And one of the main way and one of the best ways to do that is if you are a fair who has been trusted to be allowed in a group of marginalized people, if you are trusted to exist within that space, like that is you should view that as an honor, right? And when you are in that space, understand that you are a guest and you shut the fuck up and you listen.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, especially when you're talking about minorities on these continents, both North, South America, and including the Caribbean. Once you exist within spaces of those things, the struggle for those people have been going on for centuries, for 5 fucking centuries, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about a level of oppression and subjugation that, isn't like, I don't want to like turn this into like I don't want to like sound like a reductionist or anything like that, but it is definitely something that needs to be taken into account along with class consciousness, right? With
Absolutely.
The class battle. If you are talking about the working class, you need to also be taking into your arguments the history of those who are most exploited, right? If like, when you hear decolonization, what does that mean? Is it just a fucking slogan, or are you pairing it with a plan? Are you pairing it like are you saying decolonization insofar as you want to see dismantling of borders? Are you saying decolonization in the sense that you want to see whiteness, abolished? You want to see people, or same thing. Then when you talk about land back, right? What are you saying when you say land back, right? What are you hearing when you hear land back? Are you hearing that, oh no, the indigenous people want to kick all the Europeans out? Or are you hearing that, hey, these people want their identity recognized, within the territory that they've lived since time immemorial?
Yeah, to be that accomplice, you have to learn to push past that ingrained privilege that, some people I don't think have gotten past is the issue. And so, when you hear the perfect example, you hear land back, and if someone's having that knee-jerk response, their first thought is still, well, wait, what is this going to do to me or people like me? Not how is this going to empower a marginalized group that have been kicked down the fucking ladder for 400 years, you know? So, yeah, no, I agree. And what if someone's able to find a way to move past that privilege, recognize it, and say, okay, can I weaponize it? Can I move past that and actually be that accomplice and help people? That's what we want to see. That's what I would like to see. And it's okay. And there's different things that they can do to help. If somebody is fair skinned, but they have, say, a platform, that's one way they can be an accomplice, is to use their platform to amplify those voices, to take the step back and say, okay, I care about this subject, but they live this subject. It's time for them to speak. Hey, Mitt Nerd, welcome to the chat. Everybody, make sure to go subscribe to Mitt Nerd, please, and thank you. Excellent music, Twitch streaming. And a really, really based comrade. We had a great fun chat about Afrocentrism and its connection to music. Definitely check out Mitt Nerd.
Yeah, Mitt Nerd is the definitely does not get the true recognition on this platform as they should.
No, Mitt Nerd's an excellent multi-instrumental musician, glorious.
I mean, it's like people recognize it, but it's just like he's like, I feel like not like streamers know of him, right? But like the people need to know. Like,
and the issue you run into also to begin with, people who are largely live, I've noticed, and I'm not talking about myself. I don't produce enough content to have a big enough following, but people who are live and people who produce live content are often underrepresented in subscriber and metadata stats. It shows up more in the audience retention and less in the sheer numbers, and so we need to get the sheer numbers up for Mitt Nerd and for our glorious friend here, Camazotz, as well, and increase that audience retention as well. I don't stream that often, so you all can't use the excuse that you're watching my stream instead of Camazotz or Mitt Nerd, because I can barely get the focus together to do a stream once a month. So you can talk. Make sure you tune into Camazotz. Make sure you tune into Mitt Nerd.
So
I have been going for a decent period of time, so I want to wrap it up, but I have to end it on a positive note. So you said you've been all over the Midwest. Okay. Tell me where you are with hot dogs. You said you did some time in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh no, run that shit through the garden. That's how I like my hot dogs. No ketchup, mustard. Run that shit through the garden. I want the relish. I want poppy seed hot dog bun. Fucking all beef dog. I want the relish. I want the hot peppers. I want tomatoes. I want it all on there.
Now, I've been to Chicago once. The dog I had, they actually threw in a whole spear. Is that
whole pickle spear? Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, because you need that sweet neon green relish, right? And then you need that
briny
that briny fucking I want it. And here's the thing, right? In my opinion, a hot dog, the only way the only way to like justify eating a hot dog is the messier it is to consume, right? So like chili dogs, Chicago style hot dogs,
New York
dogs.
Like
that sort of thing.
Do you vibe with New York?
Do I fuck with New York? I fucking hate New York. I'm sorry. If you're gonna hate me for something, hate me for that take. Hate me for the fucking my New York shade, because I can't stand it.
So don't like their dogs either, then, huh?
No, I'm not a fan. I'm a huge thing of I'm a huge person for I like my Chicago style pizza and I like my Chicago style dogs.
So I can vibe with Chicago style pizza because usually they don't skimp on the meat. I do love the Italian beef sandwiches up there as well, dipped in the fucking drippings. That's glorious.
Oh yeah, yep.
I'm an Ohioan, so we eat big and just absolutely gratuitously here. Shut up, Birchalac.
Hey now. It is okay. All right. I have a good friend, right, that went to that lived in Chicago for a very long time, but he's from New York, and Connecticut is from where his family like has been, right? His take on it was, comparing, trying to pick a favorite between, or comparing pizzas from New York to Chicago is like trying to ask someone to compare spaghetti to lasagna.
Yeah, they're two
Like,
different things.
they're two different things.
So,
They're both pasta. They're both pasta, but at the same time, they offer different things. And so, but for
you had a
me,
cheese coney? Have you been to Cincinnati?
I have not. Oh wait, no, I've been to Cincinnati. But I have not had. No, I have not. I've been to. I've had Cincy chili. I've been out to. I've been to Columbus, Ohio. Okay. I've hit up that. Yeah, I've been through Ohio too.
So, well, because we were talking dogs, I didn't know if you've had a cheese coney. You've had the chili. I assume you had a 3-way. So, spaghetti noodles, chili with shredded cheese on top.
Yep.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I've had pasta in my chili before.
Okay.
It was nothing. It was nothing new. I was just like, this is
Visitors tend to love or hate it. It goes from one extreme to the other. We have many great food items that make this a great destination. You got to swing through Cincinnati sometime. We'll get you a proper coney. Shut up, Birchalac. I don't want to have your burger soup that you call chili, okay?
Burger soup. I fucking love it. Listen, I have not had Texas style. Well, no, I've had Texas style chili, but I have not had Texas style chili from Texas. It was made by a Texan.
Fucking burger and bean soup. They want to call that chili.
But yeah, this has been fun, homie.
Thank
you. I don't want to keep you much longer. And like, listen, I hope I don't bring any like, bad vibes to your stream with my takes, because that is I don't need that.
You
that thing.
Absolutely won't. And even if some chuds showed up, listen, let me explain something to you that I hope everybody here gets. Gonna lean in real close. I don't make a living doing this. I have a job and a family and a home. I am not terminally online. I have real problems, so I don't have to care what anybody says about anything on the internet. Okay. I'm perfectly capable of ignoring what stupid people say. That's just the facts. So, if we've summoned the wrath of some toxic community, that doesn't faze me in the slightest. I banned one person while you were talking because they were coming in with some bigoted shit. There's been a weird rush of groypers just rushing all kinds of channels tonight. It's weird. I don't understand it.
I have no idea. There is like a flex or an influx of chuds lately. It was in Tina 2 stream. They've been coming out of the woodwork. I think it has to do something with the Chauvin trial. Everyone fucking giving their 2 cents about the fucking pig getting put behind bars, type thing, and they feel they're all butthurt over it.
690,000 to go. One down.
Yeah, exactly.
So listen, everybody, we've been chatting with Camazotz here. Makes excellent content. Please follow them on Twitch and please subscribe to them on YouTube. Camazotz is an excellent content creator that gives a unique perspective, different from my own, on the experience of someone who is Mexican American, in descent.
That's all right. Come and hang out, all of y'all. You're all very welcome, and thanks for having me on, homie. Take it easy.
Take care. You have a great evening. We'll talk again soon. So that was fun. Solidarity forever. I'm just imagining Mitnerd is plinking away at it in my head. So, I don't know the words. So Mitnerd would be smacking me in the back of the head, reminding me the words to Solidarity forever. All right, let's see here. Well, as late as it fucking is, and I got carried away with this stream, let me tell you, we got to find someone to raid So I'm going to go back to Twitch, see who's online here, and see what we're able to do. I keep hearing this noise, this whooshing noise. Oh, we are going to raid Universal Discourse. Every single one of you, stay here. Don't you leave. Don't you fucking leave. We are raiding UDI. Don't you go anywhere. All right, let's see here. Okay, we're going to raid UDI. Start raid. Everybody, ready up, gamers. We're raiding. UDI does excellent discourse from a native and indigenous perspective. All right. Electronic folk solidarity forever mashup. Yeah, we got to do that. All right. We're going to work on that very soon. All right. Come on. I see 13 of you on Twitch. Come on. Get in there. We're at 10. Don't make me put on my my pushy NPR fund drive. We need you right now. We are so close to getting our 13 out of 13 raiders ready to go. All right. We're doing this. Let's go.